Okay, here we are again. Sorry, just rearranging my workspace. Not used to it again. It's funny how all semblance of order goes out the window with this stuff after, what, 12 days away? 10 days? I think it's been 12, actually. So that's just great. But I have returned. I have been released from the responsibility of babysitting the dog. Everybody got home safe and sound, so now I can continue with my quest to destroy my backlog. And by backlog, I don't even just mean games that I haven't played yet, I also mean games that I have intention to stream. That backlog. I get a feeling we're going to be on this quest for a while, at the rate I'm going. Oh boy. Anyway, let's see who's here. Marie's here. Hello. How you doing? Welcome back. Here in time for the intro, the end anyway. Yeah, there you go. And I let the second intro play out because I completely forgot over my break to see in the last episode if the full second intro played. I don't remember if I just interrupted it like when it started or what, so I figured, yeah, we'll let it play out, especially since, like you have noticed, I have the NES music on in the background for reasons that I'll get into right now. Because, excuse me, I'm gonna load the game up, and I realized over the time in between last time and this time, I haven't really been doing that thing I said I was gonna do, where I was like, well, you know, let's do a job of the day, and then somebody can guess it, and then figured out, and I was like, I'm not really feeling that, so I figured I'd just turn on the NES music at the beginning of this one, because the main tracks that I want to talk about are really the world map theme and the battle theme, but also because of the fact that it demonstrates a contrast in the next area that we're going to in just a few minutes, where I actually think I may have changed my opinion slightly. I think I do, in fact, enjoy the rearranged tracks better than the original tracks. I said before, I think I like them equally. I may have changed my mind slightly on that, but we'll see. Anyway, how you doing, everybody? Welcome back. Finally, it's about time to Final Fantasy III, the Stream Edition. It's been 12 days. My hands have not been idle, however, because I've been testing some stuff off-screen, and on top of that, I've also been working on some job levels. I had to stop Lunith at this job level because, of course, I had to. He also has 69 attack power, which is also nice, but that's just because I have some wooden arrows that I haven't used up that I'm going to use up now. But I got Viking up to job level 57, Bard is job level 58, and Scholar is job level 55, and I think I did a little bit of job training off-screen as well for the other classes. Yeah, so I got Warrior up to... I don't really need these other jobs outside of these 4 classes to be 99. The only exception there is for Ingus. I need to get White Mage to 99 at some point because, well, we won't need White Mage specifically for any of the remaining main game bosses, but the super boss just deals so much damage that I need access to, like, high-level cure spells. There's just no way around it, unfortunately. The rest of the game should be just fine to use for this team, though, so we'll see how that all goes. Hope you destroy the next boss. That boss can burn. I'm trying to think about which boss you're talking about there for the next boss. Let me think. Is it an optional boss, or is it like the actual next regular boss? When is the next regular boss, actually, now that I think about it? Because we fought Garuda last time, and that was one of the last things we did. Let me think. It's not in this next dungeon. There's optional content. We'll talk about that once we're done with this next dungeon. Yeah, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I'm sure I'll know it when we get there. Oh yeah, we killed Garuda already. That was the last boss that we beat last time, and that's why we have the Nautilus here, which, as you may recall, we tried to go inside of the Dalg continent. Let me show you with the map real quick. This continent with the down arrow, is the Dalg continent, and we tried to go in it with the Enterprise before it got shot down, and we could not proceed because there was a gale force wind in the valley that was preventing us from going in. But with the Nautilus in tow, it's fast enough to where we can just go right into the valley and not have to worry about the gale force wind. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So let's proceed and see if we can find this Doga fella that we're supposed to be looking for according to the voices in my head. Those are always good to listen to, right? Well, there's his manor. What the? Sorry, I had to wander around on the world map for a quick second. And also wait to listen to the breakdown there. Yeah, there's monsters that you can fight on the airship on the Dow continent, so... You know, it's not normal. Normally you don't have that situation with airships, but hey, I'll take it, you know, whatever. Anyway, so we've got, what are these? Harpies. So there's, let me think. There's one monster that I want to just fight before we get off the airship here in the air, like, in the air. This is not it, but that's okay, because this one will do anyway. So. But yeah, I really wanted to show off primarily the battle theme from the NES version, because the thing about the battle theme in the NES version is that it's... So I had the wrong impression about it. I was under the impression that it was one of the first games on the NES to use the noise channel of the sound, like of the audio chip on the NES for like percussion instruments. And that's not actually true. In particular, Capcom was doing that, as far as I'm aware, well before this. I don't know exactly when the Mega Man games came out, but I think Mega Man 1 and 2 and 3 and probably 4 were out before this game came out, and they were definitely using the noise channel for percussion, so... Because otherwise you wouldn't get... Because that had a percussion undertone as well, so... But yeah, let's just fly around. I would say wander around, but actually the enemy I'm looking for is exclusive to on the airship. And that's not it, but it is the next most common enemy, so that's not bad. We can take a look at this guy. Simurg. Sure, why not? I have... Let me see, how many arrows do I have left? I put all the wooden arrows I have left from training on, just so I can get rid of them, but I have 3, and I should be able to shoot these guys down, so no big deal. Put the Dream Harp on. Sing for me! We should get a little more HP back now, because at every 11 job levels for Bard, you get back 1% more HP from Payon there, so yeah, it's not a bad heal. Eventually, it can approximate just about what a Cura can do, which is not great, but it's better than, you know, spending money on Cura or spending MP on Cura when your MP charges are limited, so, you know. Excuse me, that's not bad. Can't imagine piloting that thing, to be honest. You have to go so fast that you break through the gale force winds, but you can't really slow down. Yeah, and it's one of those things that you have to kind of get used to as well. Like, just in gameplay piloting the thing, because it's so fast. If you go back to the floating continent with it, it's like, oh my god. I can't stop where I want to stop because it's so much faster. It slows down at one point, though. Maybe not where we're currently at, but shortly. Alright, let's see if we can find this enemy. It's the most common encounter around here, so hopefully it won't be too long before we find it. I only have 1 wooden arrow left, so let's just do this, and then I'll use one of my attack items. We can start to burn these off now. I don't think I particularly need the Zeus's Wraths or any of these for anything particular going forward. I do want to make sure I have a few Heavenly Wraths, but as you can see, I also went ahead and grabbed a few Bomb Arms and Heavenly Wraths off-screen. At least I think I did. And, oh, that was the other thing I did as well. When I was doing job level training off-screen, I also got Thief up to job level 96 as a part of the whole process. It was already really high to begin with. I think it was like 67 or something when I started, so... It wasn't really that difficult to get it there. But I didn't want it to go all the way to 99, because once you take it all the way to 99, it actually changes some of the steel tables. Is it 96 or is it 92? It might be 92, actually. But once you get it to 99, it changes the steel table for some of the enemies, and I don't want to do that because a lot of the attack items that are available become less easy to get. They're not the 4th steel item. Although that's not always true. There's a couple of situations where you can still get the same item, or at least a stealable. So, not a big deal. We can take care of it. Finding a lot of harpies, that's interesting. Wouldn't have expected that. Oh well. Sing the minuets, and then I guess Angus can keep studying them. He's going to have to get used to looking at that kind of anatomy if he wants to ever have a chance with Princess Sarah. She may not be as feathery, but, well, there's other things there that we can look at. Man, saucy comment, and we only just started. Kind of a mood in my end today. I mean, you swap to the other airships and they move like bricks. Yeah, that's the trouble, right? Is that you swap to the other airships later. Like, the Enterprise, if we had access to the Enterprise, it would move like 1/3 as fast as this, and it's like, oh my god, just go. I need you to go. We're aging as we speak. Alright, but yeah, I'm not going to burn any other attack items because, you know, I could just book them to death as well. I don't know what I'm doing. It's probably better to book them to death than just keep spamming barrage as well, because Ingus needs to get job levels, and sometimes that's difficult with Scholar because it's slower than Ranger, and so Ranger just sort of, you know, which makes it a little difficult to get job levels for Scholar. That being said, Scholar only needs 5 actions in order to get a job level, so it's not a huge deal to do it, but I'd rather not have Ingus lose out on potential job levels when we're only fighting 2 enemies on the field, you know. So. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Frost flies. So these are the most common encounter when you're flying on the airship. It only took me a while to find them, but to be fair, I also found, what else did I find? Simurgs and Harpies, so I only need to find the other 2 enemies that are around here, and then we should be good to go. And these guys are weak to fire, so let's just book them to death. I have the Tome of Fire and the Book of Fire equipped, so... We won't need the books of Fire, Ice, and Light for much longer, though. We're going to find a better tome to just stick in Ingus's hand. I almost said Ignis. Ingus's hand. Ingus. We'll be sticking a better book in his hand shortly. But first, let's clap these guys to death. And that was back row damage, so that's not bad. Scholar can hit decently okay with its physical attacks, at least for a little while. Especially when it has access to an elemental weakness, but, you know. That was your experience with this game? Going fast just feels so good. Yeah, and honestly, like, if I had a choice between the 2, I get used to the Nautilus by the time we get the next airship anyway. So, like, I end up just sort of gravitating back towards the Nautilus when I have to go anywhere that's far afield, you know? So... That's why your default speed and Bradley default is 2 times. Yeah, and we can enable fast forward here as well, but I don't know, I try to avoid doing it when I'm doing the stream because I feel like if I can enable fast forward, I can also, like, you know, take a drink of water, which might be healthier for me than just enabling fast forward. The only time when I'm really like, yeah, no, let's do fast forward is when we're barraging enemies to death, like, a million times, and so it's just like, okay, get out the light machine gun. Quite literally, when I was well, not auto-leveling, it wasn't really auto, I can't really auto it, but when I was leveling off-screen, I also, I used White Mage a little bit off-screen, obviously, because, you know, you have to, in order to, if I want to level it, I'm going to have to use it. So, when I was using it, I turned on fast forward with 2 stabs equipped, and that literally just sounds like a gun, like a silenced gun shooting the enemies. Pretty crazy. But yeah, so whenever there's 2 enemies, I'm going to try to have Ingus do the do some thwacking with his book, so that way he can potentially gain the extra level job levels that he might need. So, of course, if I don't sing the minuet, then you know he won't have the attack power to do it. But that's okay. Been trying to drink less sugary drinks, make tea without sugar now, and it feels good to taste more than just sweet. Your palate appreciates it. Yeah, and I feel like the palate also just appreciates being able to, like you said, basically try new things sometimes. So. It's helpful. Alright, well there's Angus's level and his job level as well. That's good. So there's 2 more enemies that we can find out here. Let me look at the... Okay, there's no difference, it looks like, between forest and grasslands in terms of this stuff. It's just Simurgs and Harpies are very common. So I have 76 potions from who knows where. Oh, probably I got them when I was just leveling Thief. Did I show that? Hang on, let me see here. I don't think I showed all of the jobs I leveled off screen. So Warrior 72, Thief is 92, like I said. and then Black Mage is 85, and White Mage is 82, so... Excuse me. Like I said, mostly that'll be done off-screen in between streams, but, excuse me. There may be times where I switch to White Mage anyway instead of Scholar, because Scholar's Vitality is just so low that Angus is going to start to fall behind on HP. He hasn't so far, but we aren't exactly gaining massive amounts, you know, so... I know they're weak to bows, but why are you hitting for 9k Lunith? Yeah, that's kind of the trouble, is that when you know how to use arm strength in this game, it sort of trivializes a good chunk of the early parts of the game, but once you get the final crystal, enemy HP just starts to ramp up so quickly that those 9Ks will all of a sudden be like, okay, I appreciate you actually being able to clear the enemies out in a reasonable period of time. Like, it'll only take us about 2 hours, I think, total, including all cutscenes, to get through the final dungeon and the final bosses and all that. Whereas that would normally be like a 3.5 hour experience with other jobs, so. More harpies. I think I'll just hang around for a little longer, but not too much longer, and then if I can get the enemies, cool. If I can't, I'll just come back off screen. I'll fight like 3 more battles, I guess. You looking forward to the last crystal jobs? So, the trouble that I have with the last crystal jobs is that they come in so late that I find it kind of difficult to incorporate them into parties now, especially now that I know that Ranger is atrocious and Scholar is OP, and I mean Viking and Bard you just get before you even need to do that. The trouble is that it just sort of, I'm going to explain this when we get the Earth Crystal as well, but it just sort of slows the gameplay down quite a bit, because it's like, okay, here's access to your new jobs. If you want to use them in one of the 4 dungeons that are left in the game after this, you're going to need to stop and grind up job levels for the next hour in order to be efficient with them. It's like, okay, I don't know how I feel about that, but like I said, it won't be a huge deal for us, because we've already, like, this party of 4 here is the party I'm going to be using to fight the final boss, so, yeah, like, the way, with the jobs that they are in now, they'll be job level 99 by the time we get there, but they'll be in these jobs, so, yeah. Wizardry, it took you 2 hours just to climb the Crystal Tower, yeah, I know, it's a bit of a climb for many other jobs, but when you can one-shot every enemy on the field without having to worry about, you know, like, you can do it in 1 round with Barrage. After a while it gets ridiculous, so because of that we won't have too many problems getting up there in a shorter period of time. It does, but it was worth it for you. Oh yeah, absolutely. Once the jobs are leveled efficiently, like, yeah, they get very powerful, but, you know, until that point it's a little difficult to... It's weird. Like, there's, just to give an example, there's one job that's like an upgrade to White Mage, basically. It's called Devout, I think? Devote? Something like that. And, it's supposed to be a better White Mage, basically. But, your White Mage has been with you since the Wind Crystal, so your White Mage's job levels, if you haven't really been grinding anything, is probably in like the 60s at that point or something. And it just makes it so much simpler to just, I don't know, use the White Mage. Granted, you won't have as much MP, so that's a fair point, but like, at that point you've got so many elixirs that it's okay to just, you know, burn through your Kiragas and Kirajas and then heal with the elixir. Maybe not, you know, against regular enemies it doesn't work as well, but I don't know. I've thought about, like, I thought about it before I did the playthrough, like, can I incorporate these jobs in, or are they pretty bog standard? And I looked at a lot of them and I was like, honestly, these are either going to be pretty bog standard for, like, what people normally use, or they're jobs that we're going to see not only in the next game that we play, but also in several more Final Fantasies, whereas, like, okay, there's a new guy. There's only one other enemy besides these guys. These are just regular gargoyles, so... yeah, but there's only going to be two more circumstances where we're going to be seeing a Ranger-type class in the series. Viking is pretty much exclusive to this game, same thing with Scholar, although we do get item classes in other games like Chemist. Bard, there's one more Bard? that is worth their salt anyway. There's 2 more bards, but there's 1 more that's actually worth something, and the other one is mostly useless. We'll talk about the distinction eventually. But, yeah, so I figured, you know, might as well use these classes because they won't be... Like, Black Belt, we're going to see more monks as we go through the series. Summoner, we're going to see more summoners. That's like a staple of the series for jobs. White mages are everywhere, and so, you know, upgraded white mages, devouts are pretty much everywhere. Magus is, I mean, you know, it's there. It doesn't always come up, but it's an upgraded black mage, so if you have a black mage, there you go. So, yeah, there's just, these jobs, I think, not only do they help out, for the most part, with the exception of, well, Scholar, with the super boss, but they also are fairly unique to this game, so it just feels like the right thing to do, personally. Just ignore those other 2 save files that I've got down there. They, like I said, my hands were not idle. I'm trying to test some things off screen, and I've been trying to test some things off screen while I've been waiting to come back to this, so. You got 3 red dragon encounters in a row, good lord. Oh, that's rough, honestly, because those guys are tough. Somewhere in the distance, a chocobo swallowed that threat. It didn't take that well, no, probably not. Let's hope Quinfucius is not upset the next time we see him. Actually, he won't be. Let me think about that. Yeah, no, he won't be the next time we see him, because... Do chocobos play a big role? I mean, I guess it's a decent summon spell in the next game that I'm planning on playing, but after that, I mean... I guess there's a side character that's chocobo in another game. They really don't do much of anything in 6. We're gonna hold off on 7 for a while. They don't really do anything in 8, if I remember right, either. In 9, I'm actually really disappointed in 9, because, like, I really like the minigame in 9 for chocobos, but it requires you, like, there's only 1 chocobo forest in the whole map, and, like, you have to keep going back to that one. No, actually, I think there's other chocobo forests, but you don't get access to them until, like, disc 3 or something like that. I tried playing the minigame, and then I found out that it was somewhat random, and I was like, oh, cool. I'll just go to all the chocobo forests dotting the world map, and then there was, like, 3 of them total, and that's it. I was like, really? So I have to pick up, like, 10 treasures from each one or something like that, and it's completely random if I get them? Okay, this minigame blows. Never mind. So, anyway, let's go inside of Doga's Manor. And this is actually the place where I kind of got the distinction, where I was like, okay, no, you know what? Actually, I think I do prefer the rearranged tracks, because there's nothing wrong with this track in the background that we've got going on. It's perfectly, you know, good kind of waltzy chiptune kind of a thing going on, but then if you turn on the rearranged tracks real quick, hold on, have a listen to this. Yeah, like I said, I think I have edged out the original tracks. They're all great, but like, I think I prefer the rearranged tracks, honestly. Like, this is really good stuff. So, part of you has been tempted to bust out your PS3 and finish 7, just couldn't take it anymore in the past. They'd broken the game's spine into tiny AF shards before the Sapphire weapon. Yeah, it's easy to break the game in 7. I've got notes for it where I tried to do it relatively balanced, and I mean, I think I did a good job with it. I'm more interested in seeing how everybody feels about how I tackle Final Fantasy VIII, because it's very easy to overpower yourself in 8 as well, but it's also easy to underpower yourself, and therefore, because the enemies level with you in 8, so if you underpower yourself, the enemies are also underpowered. So I had to try to strike this balance where I'm at like a certain level where I'm not too strong, but I'm also not like underdeveloped to where I'm like, you can either get to really high level and then the enemies like annihilate you because you're too high level and you don't have good scaling, but the enemies do, or you can be really low level and all the enemies are trivial. So I tried to strike a balance with it, but you know. Yeah, they knocked it out of the atmosphere with the rearranged tracks in 3. Yeah, they're all really good, honestly. Like I said, the original tracks are already great, but like they really did a good job of rearranging them. You found Knights of the Round without knowing it existed. Why did you find Knights of the Round, you asked? They gave you an airship. I just explored. I'm trying to remember which island Knights of the Round is on. Can you get to that island with an airship? Probably. It's been like years since I played 7. How long? At least 4 or 5 years since I played 7, and it's going to be a while before we play it yet anyway, so... Either way, enough standing at the door. Let's go see if our, the man of the hour is home. Uh-oh. Seize the insurgents! My lord! Oh, okay. Mughals. Hate to say it, guys, but I think you can get better security than this. Can Mughals even class change into, like, knight classes or something in tactics games? Because, like, otherwise your security might need a little bit of an upgrade, so... maybe? Oh, okay, you already know who we are. Good, that saves the introductions, then. Oh, okay. So why are you benevolent and he's... Zand is definitely not. Uh-huh. Oh. Huh. I was gonna say, seems like a direct downgrade. That seems like a bit of an over-exaggeration to the fact that he can just die now, but, you know. I don't think that worked out for him. Especially since we've fixed that problem now. Oh, okay. Sure, why not? I don't even know who this Zand guy really is, other than what you told me, but the great sage Doga has joined our party as a 5th guest member, so there you go. Oh, okay. So, what's in the cave that we need to go find, exactly? Doga's got a couple of lines of dialogue, so let's see if he's got anything interesting to say. Oh yeah, this one's actually important. I remember this one just when I looked at it. I was like, Lunith, are you going to look down? Yep, there we go. This is where you find out about the Earth Crystal. I think I said in the last episode, nobody tells you what happened and, you know, whether the Earth Crystal was a fake, but here you go. This is where you find out. Yeah, so the Earth Crystal that Goldor had was a fake. It was more like a gold crystal, which explains why he destroyed the economy in Amur for so long. But unfortunately, Doga does not know where the actual Earth Crystal is, so we're going to have to go hunting for it, but maybe when we're done here, he'll be able to point us in a better direction. No new letters. Actually, I'm going to wait to get the new letters from Mognet until a little bit later. There's, let me see, 1, 2, 3 more story events where we can just kind of read through all of the main letters, and that's before we really need to worry about them. You know, once we get those events done, that's when the point where the side quests that are unlocked from them are a little more convenient to do, so, at least for me, anyway. Yeah, I can imagine, you know, going from immortal to mortal might be a little bit of a trying time for certain people. For others, it may be freeing, but I don't know. I've never been immortal, so I couldn't tell you. Oh, some strong waves. Okay, well, maybe we'll have to go and see her at some point. I think I won't, thank you. I don't need item storage. I'll be fine. Okay, not a whole lot going on here. Don't need to sell greens. Let's see, there's a few things I can sell. I don't need all these potions. I probably won't ever need 50 potions, but we might get some from enemies anyway, so I might as well just hold on to them for a little while. I also don't need all these magic keys, because once we use them in the next dungeon where we need them, we won't need them ever again, but I'll hold on to them for now, just because, why not? I'm also going to hold on to this Bacchus cider, because I may actually have a use case for it at some point, but I'm not 100% sure about that yet. We'll see. I don't think I'm ever going to use these fire, ice, or light rods, though, so let's just, yeah, let's just get rid of them. I'm not going to use them. I bought them, but I'm not going to use them. Probably not going to need this regular bow either, so I'm going to get rid of that too. We'll hold on to all the arrows, though, because they're still useful for some stuff. And the books and the tomes. Let's see, that's for when we switch over to Thief. For Thief and Thief. I don't think I need this anymore, because I think I have a feathered hat on Eric, and that's fine for him, honestly. So I think I'm just going to, let me think. Yeah, I'm just going to get rid of this Viking helm. I shouldn't need it. And that's if we need to bust out White Mage, so, okay. Do a little inventory management, why not? There we go. Alright. But if we go over to this shop instead... Alright, now we're talking premium stuff. Black and white magic up to level 6, so that's pretty nice. Although, for this playthrough, I don't think I'll ever use any of the black magic spells, and out of the white magic spells that are here, I might use Eroga and Haste all of once each for the remainder of the game. Oh, it really is. This really just comes down to not the fact that I'm not really using a traditional healer, honestly, but like for the most part, it's like, okay, am I getting a cure spell out of this? No, then I don't really need it for this particular game, you know. But I'll buy the spells anyway because why not? Might as well fill my list out. So that's all the level 6 spells for all the classes except for Evoker. Evoker currently has all their spells up to level 5, but the level 6, 7, and 8 spells are hidden on the world map, so we're going to have to go find them at some point, but we'll find them later. Anyway, Doga mentioned that if we go to his room, there's a candle in his room that will let us get to this Cave of the Circle. It seems dangerous, according to the Moogles, but we've got some attack items and we've got some magic that we can use, so it should be fine. Oh, okay. Huh. Well, good. I could use a little restore. And I don't need that part, but in case I need it, there we go. So there's the healing water, and then if we zoom in, yeah, this is the candle that he was talking about right here. Haven't touched 7 since 2016, maybe earlier. Sounds like me and Kingdom Hearts 2 at this point. I haven't touched Kingdom Hearts 2 since I did those videos for it in 2016, I think it was. So, we'll be remedying that eventually. Okay, fair enough. This time I actually have all the MP that I need in order to cast Mini, because Ingus has 3 level 2 MP, so that's pretty good. But yeah, so we can just kind of do this. I think this is the last dungeon where either Mini or Toad are required to enter. And you have to be Mini for the entire dungeon, but it's only like 3 screens, so it's not really a big deal. Let's see. Just double check my items here. I won't need this one. I guess I'll equip the Dream Harp because I might need to actually heal with it, and you're not going to be attacking anyway. So the only one who's going to be attacking is Lunith, and obviously it's going to do like no damage, but he's still going to be attacking physically because I still want him to work on his arm strength. He's not quite all the way up yet, but he'll get there over time as we do the game like more and more, so excuse me. Love how the music is so good that you literally get positive nostalgia for a game that traumatized you to the point that you don't want to play it again. Also haven't touched KH2 since 05. I think it came out in 06, but it probably, I get what you mean, like right around when it came out. Have 1.5 and 2.5 HD remix, stupid title for a game which you never touched KH2. There's some cool tech that I kind of showed a little bit of when I did the videos for it, but we're going to use some cool tech when we play through the game, so it won't be too long. There's, I think, 5 new enemies in here for us to find, and I'm going to try to find them all just so I don't have to come back in here, although there is a convenient point later on in the game to actually come back in if you need to, so. There's a couple of enemies in here that are weak to wind, so if you're using a White Mage, Eroga will do pretty well against the 2 flyers, not these guys, but the 2 flyers in this area, so. I guess provoke one of them. I don't think that's going to make a lick of difference, but... And I think, if I remember correctly, Refia has just enough magic power with her current loadout to be able to throw one of these attack items at one of the enemies and still KO them. I'm going to try the Zeus's Wrath. If it doesn't work, then I'll just use level 3, like a bomb arm, next time. Or Doga can just swoop in and destroy one of them with Flare. That works, too. I guess he is a great sage. Holy crap, 5,500 damage. That's probably, if you're not, you know, atrociously overpowered with Ranger, you're probably gonna not have seen numbers like that before, but we've got Ranger, so we've already seen numbers higher than that. We bought it exclusively for Birth by Sleep at 358 over 2, and 358 was just the cutscenes. Yeah, and honestly, like, I feel like that's a bit of a shame, because 358, I don't think it's been playable since its initial DS release, which is a little bit of a pain, honestly, because I think it had some, if I remember right, it had some okay gameplay. I don't know if it was great, but it was okay. Alright, well there's 2 of the enemies. I'm happy with that. I'm going to try to go to the next screen, I think, and just get 2 more, and then the 5th one when we get to the final screen, and we should be good. So, that, and you like how equipment works in that game? Yeah, it has it. That's what I thought. Seems silly. It's like, hey, you guys could release, like, a playable state for the game. I don't know. But yeah, if Lunith does that, and that actually inflicted damage despite the mini, that's insane. I know they're weak to bows, but, like, holy man. Yeah, that's enough. So all the enemies in here have, at the maximum, about 750 HP, so we can throw these level 2 attack items at them and do enough damage to destroy them, even with Raphia, so that's good. And we get some decent experience for it as well. Plus, we don't have to worry about Angus not getting job levels because he's currently our best DPS in here. Oh, how the turns have tabled. Okay, well, there's enemy number 3. There's a knight enemy and then another flyer that we can find. And I think the knight enemy is not available on this screen if my source is to be believed. I'm just going to guard with Eric. I don't actually want him to get smacked by the enemies, so... Let's see. And then I guess throw another Zeus's Wrath in it as well. We can get, like I said, we can get rid of these because we have access to the level 3 attack items now. So. And by that I mean Bomb Arms for Pyraga, Arctic Winds for Blizzaga. We haven't seen a whole lot of sources of Arctic Winds yet, but we will. And then Heavenly Wraths for Thundaga. So. And actually, surprisingly enough, those level 3 attack items will be useful all the way up until the final boss. There's actually a mechanic with the final boss where a part of it is weak to all elements, so those actually deal more damage than other attack items do. So don't sleep on them, they're still pretty good, all the way to the end. That being said, we're going to have to steal enough of them to get to the end, but, you know, that's fine. Let me see here, what I'm missing... I've actually gotten 2 of the least likely encounters on this screen, according to my source. That's funny. You know what we can do is we can just move to the next screen because we should be able to get something else with this horse in another battle. You know, it's a wonder these horses haven't just trampled me at this point. Like, I feel like all they'd have to do is just step on me, and there we go, smoosh. Dead warriors of light. Of course, these have to be pretty tiny horses, right? Like, we're mini, to be clear, but like the grasses here are growing pretty high, and those are mushrooms, so those are more like ponies, I guess. Well, they'd have to be even smaller than a pony, because most mushrooms don't get that big. Oh, everything, that's right. They really wanted you to deal with being mini in this dungeon, and for what? Barely watching your crunching numbers. That's okay, crunch your numbers, it's fine. Giant horses, that's what I was talking about. Okay, there's another new enemy right there, so that's another gargoyle. We saw the regular one outside, this is the rock gargoyle. So let's take care of this guy. Same as the way we've been taking care of everything up to this point, but that's okay. And there's one other new enemy, and I think we should be able to find them on this screen, and if we do that, we don't have to worry about finding them again after this, so... Light machine gun. Actually more like peanut pop gun, considering the damage we did. I mean, it did 35 damage, and I'm minied, and I have 1 attack power, so, like, I'll take those numbers, you know? Like, that's not... And that enemy is not weak to bows, so that's a fairly significant amount of damage. That means I did a little more than 8 damage with every single shot there. Not, you know, large amounts, but more than you'd expect coming out of a minied bowman. We're still good on iron arrows. I'm gonna have to go restock at some point here, but for now we're okay. And I don't even mind if we burn through most of our attack items. I'll probably want to try to keep the Zeus's Wraths, because they can be... No, I think if I have a Tome of Light, Click of Light combination in the next area, I can just use that instead. So... Like, instead of having to use the Zeus's Wrath to kill the enemies in the next area, we're going to. But we'll see. Yeah, gaining some levels as well. We're going to start gaining quite a few levels as we go through the next few areas, because there's a few that are like optional dungeons, and the enemies in there are probably normally pretty tough, but we're going to be tougher just because of the fact that we have massive DPS on our side, so... It's one of those things just about playing this game where, because of the fact that I'm not using a traditional healer, the game almost encourages you, because of the fact that I'm not using a traditional healer, to play in a more hyper-offensive way, which is kind of exactly what I'm doing now, honestly. It's just kind of... you know what, actually, use the Antarctic Winds and the Bomb Fragments instead, because the Zeus's Wraths might actually come in handy in the next area while I'm not quite up to snuff with my damage output yet. Skip right through that. There we go. I do have one other enemy that I need to find, though, outside, so I guess if I need to, I can always come back here, but I'd like to get the mini-dungeons out of the way now, if I can. I got, that was another thing I forgot to mention, is I actually got all of the monsters up to this point in the bestiary recorded, because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for 100% bestiary and 100% treasure rating from my save file. Normally I would say no, because the super boss is really difficult, but I think I have a strategy that'll work with the guy, and I have a bone to pick with him because he's been a bane on my save files for, like, since this game came out, so I'm gonna give it a shot. We'll see how it works, if it does work or if it doesn't, but we'll probably just do it the same way that we did the Kingdom Hearts 1 super bosses, where I just sort of, if I can beat them, I will attempt to, and if I can't, then, well, I can't, so. But I'll only do one stream, basically, with it to try to defeat it. At least we have good music in the background while this is all happening. Okay, I'll look for... So this, we'll count this as one. I'll look for 2 more encounters after this. Maybe it'll only be 1 because I only have 2 of each of these left. We'll do one more battle after this, and we'll see if we can find the last enemy. If we can't, like I said, I'll just come back later. No big deal. Just fly through this real quick. Just like super bosses in video games, it's something that'll let you test your mettle and potential mastery of a game. It's why you hope super bosses never disappear. And honestly, like, that's how I feel about it in this game, because when you know how to work some of the game's mechanics, it's even the final boss isn't necessarily super difficult, but the super boss of this game is very challenging and will require actual, like, even if you know all the mechanics and everything, it'll require actual, like, mastery of the mechanics in order to do that stuff. So, you know what? I will fight, including this battle, 2 more, so let's just get rid of these real quick. There it is. I mean, I'm not worried about using these up because I needed to eventually anyway, and I have a ton of, like, the regular ones, but I don't want to burn through those either. At least not yet. But I'll look for one more battle, just to see if I can find the enemy I'm looking for. If not, then no big deal, but I'd like to. It's apparently, according to my source, not particularly hard to find on this screen, but I think it's also not particularly hard to find on the first screen either, so that's why I'm not super concerned about it, you know. Just run in circles real quick. But yeah, since I'm going to go for 100% bestiary and 100% treasure rating, I'm trying to get these things out of the way while I can. But apparently, they're not cooperating, so I'll just do it off screen, no big deal. Alright, Zeus's Wrath and Zeus's Wrath, and then off we go. The other enemy outside that I'm looking for is Chimera, has a 10% encounter rate according to my source, and my source, by the way, is the Sepharaga's FAQ on GameFAQs. So, and then the other enemy is in here is Dread Knight, and it says they have a 30% chance of spawning on this screen, but whatever. I'll just come back to this screen if I need to. Okay, found the circle. Wasn't much of a cave, really. It was more like just a bunch of tall grass. Doga, do you need a heal? I have some antidotes if you need them. Well, that will help. I haven't been able to explore underwater to see if maybe the Earth Crystal got taken somewhere down there. It'd be a weird place for an Earth Crystal, but hey, you never know. Alright, so our submarine-looking airship can now travel underwater, and that'll unlock a few optional areas for us to go to. Well, 2, actually, so. Oh, okay. I'll go look for Cape Twinhorn then, the next time I want to go, but yeah, we need to go and retrieve this Noah's loot, which, based on the fact that it's, you know, an item that was owned by the great sage Noah, probably means it's important. Yeah, so it'll help wake Une up. Got it. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you could just help us get the Earth Crystal and then worry about Eureka, but you said your time is almost up, so maybe you have to prioritize your tasks. But apparently, Une knows the location of another airship called the Invincible, so we're going to have to go and chat with her about that one. But that's our next goal. Okay, see you there, Doga. Won't be too long before we see him again, but, well, we gotta go find Une, so. Now, I guess I need to get rid of the mini status, so let's do that. No, I don't think we got a full heal. No, because we still have not full HP, so, excuse me. Let's go get a full heal, because there is a healing pot right in here, so let's go do that. And yeah, like I said before, don't worry about it too much if the mini dungeon, like, you didn't find all the enemies that you need to find in there, because if I recall correctly, and as a matter of fact, I don't even have to recall, I know it for sure, you'll come back here later for something, and at that time, if you need to, you can always dip into the cave, find the last enemy you're looking for. Like I said, though, I'll probably do it. Excuse me. Is that a skull next to the pot? What does he have a random skull here for? I just noticed that. I don't know why that's there. That's so weird. Anyway. Yeah, I'll probably just find it off screen because I need to come back here anyway. So. I'll worry about that bestiary. Don't you worry about that. And then we'll look at the whole thing when it's just about done. But, yeah, so far so good with HP values. As you can see a little bit here, though, Angus is going to start falling behind as long as he stays in Scholar. It might be worth it putting him into White Mage for a little while just to let him catch up on HP, but I'm not super concerned about that. There is a way to help him catch up on HP a little later. So, alright, first encounter out. Is it going to be what I need it to be? Let's see. Let's just get into one. I mean, we're probably going to get into one on the airship, but it'll probably be Frostflies again. So... Nope, that's not it. Alright then, fair enough, I tried. Gotta go restock on those though. Let's provoke, and then Loki Harp. Alright, what the hell happened there? There we go. Okay. Sometimes the order just sort of gets funky like that on the harps, I don't know why. There you go. Yeah, as Doga mentioned, we can now travel underwater, so it's time to go under the sea. I don't know if it's better down where it's wetter yet, but I guess we're gonna go find out. Eureka! Yeah, I know. I did not subject myself to Eureka in Final Fantasy XIV, but it's not too bad in this game. There's just a bunch of bosses, so we'll make it work. Alright, but first things first, before we go wandering around under the sea, and we'll use the sight spell to see where all of the actual dungeons and stuff are, but before we go and do that, let's go back. Well, maybe if we can go under the sea, we can go over to that place, because maybe there's like an underwater cave to connect to there. How much money do I have anyway, though? Okay, not enough. Got it. Before we go and see about that town that's potentially under the sea there, we're going to need 120,000 gil or more, because there's more spells to buy, and they are very expensive, so... I guess I'll use light arrows, because everything, just about everything, is weak to lightning under the sea, so... There's some monsters that are not, but they're mostly like one-offs, so... But for now, I would rest easy because there's only, let me think, 2 more areas in the entire game where there are missable enemies, like if you leave the dungeon, you can never come back, so... None of them are coming up anytime soon, though, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Let's see, 93, 4, 5, 6. Okay, good. I can still do basic math, that's a good thing. Wish more games did something with underwater areas. Yeah, it feels like an underdeveloped, like, biome for video games. I mean, there are water dungeons in other games, but, like, Usually they're caves with water in them. They're not, like, actually underwater, you know? Guess Skies of Arcadia can take another point there, because the water dungeon in that game had you actually donning a suit and going underwater, so... Then again, we all know how good Skies of Arcadia is already. I don't think I have to sing its praises anymore. I will, but I don't think I have to. Alright, anyway. Dive! 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 At this point, 2 games that meet the criteria for your kryptonite are the only ones that really scratch the itch for you. Which ones are those? Alright, so we are underwater. It doesn't play the Boundless Ocean under here, which is a little bit of a shame for me, but that's okay. Alright, Ingus, world map, please. With all of the destinations on it, unlike the regular one that I can access that doesn't show it. Alright, so we are in between the Amur and Dalg areas. There's a cave to the east of the Amur continent, and there's 2 other dungeons. There's one right near Saronia, and there's one that looks like a town almost to the southwest of it. The one that's southwest of Saronia is the Temple of Time. It's actually in the in between the 2 horns of Cape Twinhorn, which is at the southern end of the Saronian continent. I also mentioned that we might want to come back to the floating continent to look at that shadow that's in that lake when we have access to underwater diving. But unfortunately, there's a mountain range in our way that will prevent us from being able to dive down into that lake and find out what that shadow is. So we can't get there with the Nautilus, unfortunately. But we may be able to get there later when we have the ability to cross mountains, so we'll just have to find out about that. Did you mention that your kryptonite, as you've discovered it, are games with cute playable bunny girls and bullet hell mechanics? Oh, you know what, and I think you have mentioned that, yes, so games are Revy and its successor Tevi. Those make sense, quite honestly. I could definitely see them being right in there. So, oh, has Luneth gotten to job level 71 yet? Let's see. I'll go look now, because actually, when he gets to job level 71, we may see a noticeable uptick in his damage. Yeah, he has, okay. So probably that 9,000 damage hit that you saw there, I don't remember if that was from Barrage or if it was from something else, like just a regular attack, but once you reach job level 71 on Ranger, your barrages start going from 0.4 times damage, the damage of a regular attack for each hit, to 0.6. So, excuse me, you go from basically dealing 1.6 times damage with your barrage if you hit all, like, the same enemy with all 4, to dealing 2.4 times damage to hitting the same enemy with all 4, and that's a noticeable increase in DPS. So if for some reason you saw Luneth's damage just climb all of a sudden, it's probably because of that. So, both have underwater areas since they are part Metroidvania, and Super Metroid had Meridia, so those games have underwater zones. Yeah, that makes sense then. Heavy Ruby even has a gravity suit equivalent. Fair enough. That'll work. The underwater area's boss was easier without the gravity suit. Why? To give you a timer? I don't know. Good question. That's how it works anyway. If you don't use the underwater materia in 7, it puts you on a timer. Have to finish beating the super boss without it, which is not necessarily difficult, but it's, you know, a little Ajira-inducing, I guess. Let's see. So we fought 2 of the 4 underwater enemies now. That's why I'm just slowly meandering, and this is what I meant when I said the Nautilus will be slowing down. It literally slows down underwater because it cannot swim as fast through the high-pressure environment down here, but yeah, we've seen 2 of the 4 underwater enemies, including this one, which is actually apparently the rare encounter, but I don't know, I've seen it twice. I don't know how rare it is, but either way, it won't take too long from here for us to find the other 2, I don't think. And also, it won't take long for us to get to the cave that's over there, which is the first place I want to go. Now, with that being said, I should mention this because I said I would mention it earlier. If you want to use the jobs from the Earth Crystal, like any of them, those being, I'll just name them here, so an upgraded White Mage, Devout, an upgraded Black Mage, Magus, an upgraded Evoker, Summoner, an upgraded Monk and Black Belt, or the Ninja and Sage classes, if you want to use any of those, it might be worth it to take literally all of the side content that I'm doing right now and wait until after you've gotten the Earth Crystal before you do it, because you should be able to get through the rest of the game to get to the Earth Crystal without too much trouble, if you're going to use those classes. And it's best to do that because then not only can you train job levels while you can train job levels while you're doing optional content instead of just halting the game for an hour and a half, 2 hours to train job levels by just going after random goblins out in front of So it might be worth it to save the side content basically for later, is what I'm saying. If you save the side content, including the sunken cave, you'll go from having 4 dungeons left when you get the Earth Crystal to 8 dungeons, so it'll give you a little bit more time to just, actually explore around with those jobs. And at that point, the enemies shouldn't be so difficult with job level 1 jobs that it's going to be, next to impossible for you to beat them. So, there's another enemy. Abtu. Sorry, yawning and sneezing. Not a good combination to start the day. I actually did pretty good, though, and I probably should knock on wood here, while I was doing the mentoring stuff that I did for the Summer Academy, which I was doing in between all of these streams the past few weeks. I actually did pretty good. Normally, right around this time is when I start to get really bad allergies. If you remember from other times when I've streamed, I've gotten bad allergies around this time period, but I don't know, maybe my body chemistry is changing or something, because I haven't really felt the sniffles like I usually... Like, it's usually unbearable how just clogged I feel in here. The worst that it's been so far this year is it's been like my eyes just crack up and get really dry, and that's about it. So... But yeah, not really a huge deal. Now, you think you know why? You can potentially fight that boss without the gravity suit, so the attacks are balanced more for you using the underwater physics. Oh, okay, gotcha. So, because you can potentially fight it, it's more based around the idea that you may not have it. Okay. Literally got the gravity suit in the next area. Fair enough. That makes sense. How are we doing job level-wise here? Let's see. Okay, everybody's in the 60s at least. I do want to switch Eric over to Thief, actually, though, because Provoke is fine, but it's not really necessary for this area because there's some pretty good stealables in here. Our first access to Arctic winds, well, not first access, but one of the easier access to Arctic winds is in this area. So, oh, you know what? I probably should have stopped off at Amur as well so that I could grab some boomerangs for him, because then he can actually deal some damage. Not that he really needs to, because Luneth is on the case with that one, but so do I want to get him those? I probably should, actually. Well, anyway, the cave is right here, and so if we surface, I'll just show you. There's actually an island on the world map that is a signifier of this cave, so we'll just look for this triangle island when we come back. And also, we'll look for the last underwater enemy while we're at it, too. So, I went to Amur as well, I just didn't buy the boomerangs. Oh well. But you never know when you'll need a little bit of an extra smack upside the head, so might as well just grab these. Probably keep them for a little while, actually, because these back row throwing weapons are pretty good, not just for Thief, but also for Ninja later, so I might have sold one of these already, but that's okay, I've got enough money. And trust me when I tell you, even though it looks like I just burned through quite a bit of money, we are going to have a lot more money available very, very soon, because of the premium treasures that we're going to be finding in the next couple of dungeons, so... Actually, one of the items I was going to equip on Eric as a Viking as well, because I was like, oh, it gives a bunch of bonus vitality, but unfortunately, from my understanding, bonus vitality does not actually affect the amount of HP that you get at each level up, which means I'm not really sure what vitality's purpose is outside of that. Like, pretty much it's like, okay, well, it determines how much HP you get at the next level. Okay, but like, what does the bonus vitality do then if it doesn't affect the HP when you gain a level? Because if it doesn't affect the HP when you gain a level, then what's the purpose of this stat? Like, intelligence is used for black magic damage, and mind is used for white magic, I think, damage and healing. So, I don't know. I also don't think any of these enemies have anything good to steal, so I don't think I'm gonna bother. Just low-key hard bit. And beat them up. Didn't realize Viking was so resilient way back when. Usually just using axe and shield combos and wasn't super impressed. Yeah, as a DPS, I mean, it gets maximum strength, which is really high, but like, It's one of the strongest in terms of the raw strength total. It's actually stronger than Warrior in that department, and it's tied with Black Belt for the there we go, for the highest strength in the game. But as a damaging job, it doesn't really have a whole lot going for it because it doesn't have a job command that, I mean, Provoke increases your damage, but you have to use Provoke in order to do it, so the Viking can't. Like, it increases the amount of damage you deal to the enemy that you provoke, but the Viking can't attack if you do that because it's using Provoke, so yeah, it's a little bit of a... It doesn't have, like, an advanced command or barrage or something like that to increase its damage, so... See, there you go, that's not bad. 1600 damage, he can KO one of these guys himself. What am I missing, anyway? Kagura, okay. The underwater enemy that I'm missing is called Kagura. And really, honestly, I'm not super worried about us taking our time with the optional stuff because, like, the rest of the game isn't that much longer anyway, so... how am I doing on light arrows? Oh, okay, I still got quite a few. Eventually we won't even need them because we'll be able to deal all of this damage with just regular iron arrows, but, you know... I'll say it again. What do you mean you can multi-hit with a boomerang? Apparently it's a pretty strong boomerang. I did see there was a video, it probably is because my phone is listening to every word I'm saying, and so there was a video that came up on my recommended feed about this boomerang that looks like a pickaxe almost, and it has like it's like a pickaxe combined with a cross, basically, and so the guy threw it, and it, like, whipped around a couple of times before it came back to him, so you can technically, like, hit something more than once with a boomerang. It's just, you have to, like, have a specific kind of boomerang in order to do it, you know. These boomerangs are not them, but, you know, these boomerangs work pretty good, though. You know, actually, if I can have Eric doing what he's doing there, I don't even have to have Lunith using his arrows, because I can literally just have Angus do the attacks so that he's not missing out. Alright, I'm gonna go in here. We'll find the Kagura later. I seem to be missing, like, one enemy per area each time I go, so... It's not a particularly uncommon enemy according to my source either, so... Right, that's the village that we don't want to go to yet. We don't want to go there either. Here we go, this one I'm looking for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 new enemies in here. Plus the 4 that are elsewhere. We'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, we're in the Sunken Cave. This place has premium treasure, so let's go have a look. It also has premium experience points to gain because the enemies in here give a lot of it. So we're going to try to work our way through with that. I think this Ola guy has more defense, so let's do this. And then, actually, no. You steal from the Ola guy if you can. And then... Yeah, that'll work. Do this, and then... I think the Kelpie has less defense, so with Minuet we might be able to KO it with Tome of Light, Book of Light. If we can't, it's not a huge deal, because I guess I could just use the Zeus's Wrath for a little bit, but we will eventually get access to a better book in this cave, actually, for Angus, so... Then his damage output will be a little better. But apparently he can clap these guys just fine, so that's good. And that's 2 of the 6 enemies just there, but yeah, there you go. They give, like, over 1,000 experience each when you have a party of 4, which is kind of obscene, if I'm honest with you. It's quite a lot. And here's another new enemy, so we're halfway there. I will use Barrage against this. These ones are not particularly weak to lightning, so I'm just going to swap over the iron arrows that we bought. That should be enough, because I think they're weak to it. But they also still have the same steel table, if I remember correctly, so might as well just do that, and then... I guess I'll study Dozemare, why not? A little bit of a weird name for a Griffin palette swap, but... Oh, okay, I guess I can just, you know, annihilate all the enemies before I can even steal. Why not? Lunith's got a little bit of an itchy trigger finger there, apparently. It's okay. It's not like these enemies are going anywhere. There's plenty of Arctic winds for the taking if I just, come back here anyway. And actually, this area is really nice for stealing, not just now because of the Arctic winds, but also for later because of the fact that there's... Once we get to job level 99 on Thief, which is the plan, where we want to actually do that because there's a few items that I want to steal at job level 99, and it's not the same ones that you would expect. Oh, there's a Chakram. I shouldn't have bought 2 boomerangs. No, it's okay. Let's just do that. There we go, so we can see it. But yeah, we do want to get to job level 99 on Thief because there's a few items I want to steal at job level 99 with Thief. Oh good, there's another new one. So we're going to try to do that. And once you get to job level 99 on Thief, all of the enemies in this area, well, currently all the enemies in this area have Arctic Winds for you to steal, but once you get to job level 99, they all also have turtle shells that you can steal. And we've gotten turtle shells before, if I remember correctly. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. So turtle shells cast Protect, and that might not sound like much because, like, okay, well, you can cast Protect with the Madura Harp, right? Actually, it stacks with the Protect that the Madura Harp casts, because the Madura Harp's Protect is like a weaker Protect that's cast on the whole party. Excuse me. Whereas turtle shells are a single target Protect that is stronger than the regular Protect. So, yeah, it's pretty good, and that means this area is going to be a good stealing spot because we're going to need quite a few turtle shells later on. Oh, I forgot to re-equip later. Yeah, we're going to need quite a few turtle shells for some of the endgame bosses. Like I said before, unfortunately, Lunith will not get better body armor, there we go, than the Black Garb, which means he's going to be stuck with this 30 defense piece of body gear for the entire game, and that's not really going to save him later on when the enemies start hitting like freight trains, so with their all hitting magic. So we're going to have to do something about that. Should have farmed here, to be honest. You were farming in the second to last dungeon. Yeah, and I mean, farming in the second to last dungeon does work. I'll show that off eventually because it's a really solid method, but like, I mean, getting attack items here is a little easier, I think, and then turtle shells, like I said, are also easier to find here just because, well, we're under the sea. Of course they're going to have turtle shells here. What am I missing? Killer Hermits, that's what I'm missing. Okay. Alright, Eric, I'm going to need you to actually steal things when you steal things, because, like, I mean, I guess it's not a big deal if you don't. We still have a ton of, like, bomb arms and stuff, but I didn't train you to job level 90, what is this, 94 or something, for you to just fail to steal a bunch of the time. I mean, I know the steal rate isn't excessively high, but still, get something. You have 2 chances to steal an Arctic Wind, my friend. There's some Tiger Claws. If you're going to use a Monk or its upgrade later, it's probably worth holding on to. Are those the good ones? Let me think. Let's take a look at those. Should show their attack power. They're there. Yeah, those ones are pretty good, actually. So I would hold on to those if you're going to use... Well, actually, probably won't need to, because by the time you get Black Belt... Okay, and there's the last enemy. Good. By the time you get Black Belt, you'll have 2 better claws, but... You know, it's probably not a bad idea to hold on to those anyway, just in case. I'm just going to toss a Zeus's Wrath at you. We've got 6 of them. We might as well use them before we get to the next tome that we can equip. To increase Ingus's damage output to the point where he can actually one-shot something with his physical attacks in here. Eric, what did I just say? Damn it. No, we're not leaving until you steal 1 more Arctic Wind from this battle. I don't care if I have to sit here for a while. I do have a Dream Harp, and I will use it. We are effectively invincible right now. So, steal the damn Arctic Wind. We can't... I guess I'll just study. Why not? There we go. Thank you. That's all I wanted. Just get rid of that. There we go. Yeah, like 1600 HP. Not a whole ton on these guys. But... You know, that's the thing, though, like I said previously, is that the HP values... Did I say this? I don't remember if I said this, but the HP values near the end of this game start to ramp up really quickly, like in the last few dungeons, which is an even bigger mitigator to the idea of, oh, you got all these new jobs, well, you can just start using them in the next dungeon, because the enemies just have such very large HP pools that it very much deters you from doing that, so... I think this way is not the way to go. Yeah, okay. Dual Tomahawk, we could throw that on Eric when he goes back to Viking if we want, but... like I said, I usually don't use Viking for its actual attack power. I use it for its defense instead, so... I guess we'll just try to do the same thing we did with the Killer Hermits just now. I'll use Loki Harp, why not? Whack them upside the head. Probably won't be enough to KO them with the tome book that I have, but Well, we'll give it a shot. Why not? I know that'll KO. I'm not worried about that part. But I guess if we don't KO, we can get even more Arctic Winds, so... These Aegir are so goofy looking. Alright, let's see. Why don't you attack that one? Eric, you can steal from that one. You should be faster than Ingus, we'll see. And then sing the Dream Harp, and then you KO this one. And then we should, hopefully, be able to get 2 Arctic Winds out of this. Ideally. Probably won't happen, but ideally. Okay, we did. Good. That gets rid of that. Know the funny thing? You know it's the Loki harp, but you literally heard me say the low-key harp, and you were real confused. I mean, low-key, just destroy all the enemies there, Lunith. Why not? Doesn't have to be... It can be subtle. Doesn't have to be on the high up. You can just... have a 20% haste, my friend. It's actually... What is it now? It's actually a 26% haste now because we're at exactly the job level to get an extra % haste out of that. So, Lunith is 26% more attack power and 26% more agility. I think that's how it works anyway. Like, it increases the attack stat and your ability to go first in battle, so I imagine it affects both agility and attack. But yeah, this sunken cave has a lot of sunken ships in it. At least I think that's what those are supposed to be. And so those sunken ships just happen to have some premium treasure on them. So we're going to try to grab some of it while we're here. Haven't really found a ton of it just yet, but that's about to change because we're on the final level of this area, and it has some good stuff. I probably shouldn't have stolen from the middle one since I'm going to KO 2 side ones. I probably should have tried to steal from one of them before Lunith or Ingus get any bright ideas, but, well, one more Arctic Wind, maybe. There we go. How are these ships even here? When did this place sink and how did it not flood? So I think this is like, this can happen naturally in real life, if I'm remembering correctly, because like, there can be caves that are basically just pockets of air in real life. Like the water level, because of the way the buoyancy works, the water level just never floods the whole cave, even if the cave is completely underwater. There's like divers and stuff that have shown places like that in real life, but heck if I remember where they are. But you usually do get a lot of natural rock formations that look like this in places like that, you know. So. Also, we're gaining levels out the wazoo here. 4,200 experience from a single battle, that's not bad at all. Oh look, and I even got another Arctic Wind for my troubles. Gonna start stockpiling them at the rate we're going, which is good because it means I won't have to steal them off screen. Yeah, we already got 6, that's not bad, and we still have 17 bomb arms and 6 heavenly wraths, so I'll take it. Like I said, I do want to eventually get turtle shells here, but I can always do that off screen, so. And Eric's not quite the level for that yet anyway. But I quite literally mean every enemy in this area has turtle shells to steal, so it won't take too long to actually get them. Alright, well this is a good haul. And there's the actual item that I was looking for, the Cognitome. There's a straight up upgrade, basically, for Ingus. It's just gotten way more attack power than the regular tomes. It doesn't have any elemental damage, but it increases his DPS substantially. And now with a haste, he should be able to one-shot any enemy in here with the combination of the 2 books. So, yeah, that should be very nice for him. Is he still below 1,000 HP? No, but he's only barely above. Okay. But like I said, he's going to start falling behind if we keep him on Scholar for a while. But that's okay. He'll catch back up eventually. Some metal knuckles and some diamond equipment here as well. The diamond equipment is pretty good. It's another, basically, upgrade for Viking, and you should be able to get a full set of it, I think, before you leave this area. So, I think I'm just going to barrage these guys, actually. Maybe not. They've got Arctic Winds to steal, and I can just boomerang them after I'm done, but we can Dream Harp while we've got a little bit of HP sticking out. Can I KO you with a Zeus? You know what? I don't even know why I'm asking that question. I have a Scholar. Like, yes, the answer to that question is yes. Oh, a high potion. Okay, well, that's unfortunate, but it's fine. I don't know why I was fast-forwarding just then. Didn't really need to, but that's okay. I was gonna say, I think you picked the wrong target there, friend. That's probably not going to deal a ton of damage for you. But you knew that already. Did I dream harp? I did. Okay, so I should be able to just do that. Maybe Ingus will go first, and we'll be able to see the damage that he deals with the Cognitome. Wouldn't know. Didn't learn about natural landmasses and formations as much as you should have. I think that's the cool part of having a cool imagination. The more you learn about the world, the more you can expand your ideas and random thoughts. Yeah, there you go. Everything you learn can be used to, you know, do something else that's original and creative, so it's always a good way to be. At least I think so. Like, maybe I could put a massive cavern somewhere underwater that nobody would know about. I didn't even look at what was in that treasure chest because I was just going along with you there. Well, there's another Loki harp that I guess you could use. And there's our first set of diamond bracers as well. I was originally going to pop off when we got these diamond bracers. Oh, did I get diamond gloves yet? No, I didn't. Okay, I was going to say I couldn't get that from there. Oh, it was an air knife. Okay, that's why I didn't pop off about it and didn't even look. Because, like, an air knife? Really? Don't really need to worry about that. Yeah, I was originally going to pop off when we got these diamond bracers because I was going to say, oh, you know, they resist electricity, like lightning attacks, which will make them very useful in the next dungeon because there's an enemy in the next required dungeon that just uses the lightning attack that Garuda uses. And you can encounter 3 of that enemy at once, but as it turns out, the diamond bracers do not let you resist lightning. They just have higher magic defense than any of the other bracers, so... There is an item that we can get that helps us resist elemental damage, though, in just a little while. We're only going to get 1 for now. We'll get a second one eventually, but for now we'll only get 1. That being said, 1 of them is enough to make a big difference. So, all right, let's see if you can one-shot this A gear now, Ingus. I think you have enough DPS with the haste that you're about to get. And let's remember also that he's in the back row. So this is a melee attack from the back row from a class that's not really known for its physical attacks. Let's see it. Yeah, that's pretty good. That'll do it, definitely. It's not necessarily... I probably made that seem like it was going to be a lot better than it actually was, but like, it's not incredible, but considering, again, that he's in the back row, it's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know, like, the air knife... Most knives, quite honestly, I'm not really a big fan of in this game. I just, if I'm going to use a thief, or, you know, anybody that can equip knives anyway, most of them can equip, well, throwing items as well, and I'd rather have them use those because enemies hit really hard in this game, and being in the back row is a godsend when it comes to that stuff, so I would much rather do that. I need to use the Loki harp, actually, in order to get enough DPS to maybe KO these guys. I guess I could just Zeus's Wrath and use the Dream Harp instead anyway. Let's just do that. I've got to throw these things out anyway, get rid of them. Plus we can let Ingus soak up the job point experience by doing this, which will make it easier for him to get to job level 99 eventually. I think I mentioned it earlier, but I need to get, maybe I didn't. There's 4 jobs that I need to get to job level 9. Well, actually there's 6 because I want Bard and Viking to get there too. Basically, I need to get Ranger, I need to get Viking, I need to get Bard, I need to get Scholar, and I need to get White Mage, all to job level 99 by the time the game is over. And that's unfortunate because that means that Ingus has got to do a little more work than everybody else, but, you know, that's okay. He can handle it. But I'll need all of the items that you get as a reward for that. So there's the diamond gloves. It's about time we got an upgrade for Lunith. And actually, I kind of goofed, I think, last episode because I sold the power bracers, and we could have been equipping those on Lunith this entire time because they can actually be equipped by rangers. So he would have been able to actually have a decent arm piece before he got the diamond gloves, but I guess I didn't expect power bracers to be equipable on Rangers, but apparently they are, so... Oh well, we don't need them anymore because we have a better one, but we also have... Excuse me, Stalagmite. Where is it? There it is. A secret passage that leads to 4 treasure chests. Now, all of these are trapped, so we're gonna have to do something about that in just a minute, but I don't remember what's in which chest, so I guess we'll just make it work anyway. Let's just open one and see what happens. What's the worst that could pop out in one of these things, right? I know they're trapped, but like, hey... Nothing bad's gonna happen, right? Whoa, holy crap! Whale skeleton! Actually, it's a zombie dragon, so... since it's a zombie, it's gonna be weak to holy arrows. Let's just barrage the hell out of it. I don't think it has anything good to steal, but also I think the Loki Harp and the barrage of arrows should be enough to take it out. I wonder if I could throw a high potion at it and deal lots of damage. Probably throw a Phoenix Down at it as well, but Phoenix Downs, I don't think you can buy them in this game anywhere, so I'd rather not do that. I'd rather not use up my precious Phoenix Downs. I might need them for something later. Says everyone ever when it comes to Mega Elixirs, and then they never use them, but, you know. Also, I don't think anything in these chests has anything good to steal. It's really just the enemies in the dungeon itself that do. Oh, okay, well, I guess I could just barrage him for over 10,000 damage in 2 hits. That's awesome. I thought these guys were supposed to be difficult. Oh, right, I'm using Ranger. Never mind. It's just really atrocious how busted powerful Ranger gets in the end game here. It's quite ridiculous how strong they are. And, like, everybody sleeps on it, too, which is just insane to me. Like, has nobody ever tried it? Like, I mean, I guess I didn't either, to be fair, and then I did try it because I wanted to be a contrarian about it, and then I was like, oh, wow, these actually work way better than I expected they would. So, I guess I'll try to steal from these guys just for the heck of it, why not? Got a Periton here. Now, the enemies that you're going to find in these treasure chests can also be found in other dungeons, but now you don't have to worry about them for your bestiary because you've just found them as part of Monster in a Boxes, so... Plus, we've gotten all the enemies in this cave as well. So, let's see. Dozemare, Sea Witch, Killer Hermit, Guy, Kelpie, Aegir, Eater. Oh, not Eater yet, but Zombie Dragon, Periton, yes, and then there's one other enemy, so. As Backlog Buster would say, it's back row okay, baby! Also, we finished Oracle. Unlike literally every other job, it took over a day of playtime to beat Oracle only. You know, I believe it with Oracle. It's just one of the classes of all time, quite honestly. I give them a lot of credit. I don't know if I could do it. Maybe if I had access to... Is Osmos in Final Fantasy V? I don't remember because I've never used it. No, I think it is because you can get Osmos Blade, I think, for Mystic Knight. Maybe if I had access to Osmos, because then you could, like, condemn, or is it condemn? I think the one that... No, maybe it's predict. I don't remember what Oracle does, but you could do the one that uses up a certain amount of MP, and then you could suck back some MP, or you could just use ethers or something, I guess, but that'd be a lot of money, so... Yeah, you're only allowed to use Oracle in this case, so yeah, no, you're not allowed to use Black Magic in any way. So even if Osmos was there, nope, can't use it, so... Yeah, it's only Oracle. Couldn't learn on Osmos anyway, yeah, fair enough, so... You use Mega Elixirs and don't just hoard them? Well, that's good, because most players do not do that. So... Speaking of Final Fantasy V, here's Deathclaw. We'll talk about Deathclaw much later when we play Final Fantasy V, but he's around in that game too. Just barrage him. Again, I don't think any of the enemies in these chests have anything good to steal, but I guess I might as well try it while Eric is still here as a thief. Might as well give it a shot. I'll probably leave him on Thief for a little bit just to get it to job level 99, but maybe I won't. Maybe I'll switch off of it once we get out of this cave because I won't need to do it after that. Look, sometimes you don't feel like going back to town and you want to keep grinding, so you'll chuck a Mega Elixir just to stay out longer. Yeah, and fair enough, honestly. That'll let you do that. So. Yeah, maybe I don't want to get Eric, like, just randomly have him leveling Thief out in the wilderness, because he's already going to be, like, job level 96 or 97 when he leaves here, so... And I want to be able to, you know, steal some more Arctic Winds. This is the weapon I was going to equip on him as a Viking, the Triton Hammer, because it actually has a +5 Vitality bonus, which is more than, I think, any other hammer other than the job level 99 reward for Viking, but... It doesn't affect the HP he gets at level up, so he's just going to be stuck getting about the same amount as Lunith gets. Alright, so this is Eater right here. So this guy is the first encounter in the game that you have with an enemy that actually has a special ability. If you don't KO him in one hit with a physical attack, he can divide into another copy of himself. We might see that in just a minute if Angus hits before Lunith does, but, I mean, we have plenty of damage, so it shouldn't be a huge deal. Nope. Yeah, he has like 2,700 HP. Yeah. So. And that's why he gives so little experience, because he can just keep dividing, and each version of him will give you more experience as well. So, you know, it's not a big deal. We can take care of him. So basically, if you're going to hit him with a physical attack, make sure you kill him with the physical attack, because if you don't, well, they'll divide, and then there you go. More experience, I guess. So. Is it efficient? Hell no. Does it do what it needs to? Hell yes. Yeah, there you go. That's why those things are familiar. Wait, they do that. Learned how to do that in Golden Sun. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, those ones can divide, so they... I guess they're farmable, but there are other enemies later on in the game that are more farmable because... Not because they divide. I think most of the dividing enemies in this game actually give pretty bad experience to compensate for their division. But there is an enemy on the first floor of the second-to-last dungeon of the game that can summon an enemy that is worth quite a bit of experience. Like by a factor of 10 more than each eater. So like 10 times more experience for that enemy compared to the experience you get from each eater. So, yeah. You get a little more bang for your buck out of that one. It's how I'm going to... I'm basically... those other couple of save files that I told you to ignore, those are me planning for the super boss of this game, because really every single bit of training that I'm doing outside of, like, everywhere in here, basically, are me planning for the super boss. And that's why I have to use Ranger, because it's so atrociously OP. It's not just because of the fact that I'm going to use it to be atrociously OP for the whole game, it's also because I want to use it for the super boss fight. So I need something really overpowered, and I don't want to have to buy Shuriken. But yeah, every little bit of planning is going into, and like working here is going into, okay, how do I prepare for that? And I actually think, so one of the solutions, quote unquote, to the super boss is just level to level 80 and then just annihilate it with whatever class you want. But first of all, it's not really a lot of fun, especially since it takes 6 million years to level up in this game once you get above level 60. So not really fun in any meaningful capacity. Like, we're gaining levels like crazy right now. That will slow down substantially very soon. Right around level 40, you start to need a lot more experience to level up. So, and we're 34 now. So, like, you see how we need like 17,500 in order to level up right now. You get above level 60, try 100,000, 150,000, 200,000, that sort of thing by the time you reach level 70. It's obscene how much experience you need to level up by that point, but so I actually can't level up too far, though, when I fight the super boss, because here's the thing. We've seen it already. Lunith has dealt 9,999 damage with some of his attacks with his bow. He may be dealing more than 9,999 damage. It's just the maximum amount of damage that the game can display is 9,999. So he may be dealing more damage than that, but we just can't see it. And that can actually happen and be a little bit annoying with the super boss, because the super boss has 2 phases, and if he switches phases without me knowing that he's switching phases, we might die, because I need to throw a bunch of turtle shells around so I can protect my party from some of his super powerful attacks. So, yeah, I need to, I need to be able to know how much damage I'm dealing. So if I level up too much, that is to say, basically, if I level up too much, I'll start hitting the damage ceiling. Not damage ceiling, but the damage cap. I'll be hitting for more than 9,999 damage, and I won't be able to see how much I'm doing, so it'll be harder for me to take into account, okay, I need to make sure I'm getting ready for the next phase right around here, so... Literally, one of the only ways to grind in 99 in the second Golden Sun without losing your mind is to get into an encounter with 2 of a particular enemy. It can revive dead enemies. Okay, gotcha. So you keep killing one, letting the other revive it to get EXP. Issue, that mob can run from combat. Yeah, I can see how that would be a bit of a problem then, yeah. So. Damage ceiling. Oh, not quite a damage ceiling. More like, we're going to troll you and not show you the entire number. It might be better as a damage ceiling. Yeah, because if it was a damage ceiling, at least you'd know. Of course, then the game would... slow to a crawl in terms of you being able to kill things. Like, I need you to understand, we will 4-shot the final boss of this game. If Ranger continues to steamroll and be a train wreck like it already is in terms of its damage output, and the final boss does not have, 40,000 HP. It's closer to 130,000, so... But we will 4-shot it. And I hate to say that because it sounds like, oh, okay, well, why should I even watch at this point if you're just going to annihilate everything? I know. Trust me, I understand. Hear me out. Yeah, the damage... basically, the fact that you can't see those damage numbers, it literally only matters for the super boss, because you can't keep track of how much damage you're doing with the super boss. So that's why I want to be careful with how much leveling I do, because then if I get too high up, I might, you know, phase change in the middle and then just get completely destroyed. And I don't want to do that, so if I don't level up, first of all, it'll mean I can see my damage numbers, but it'll also... Why am I just lingering here? Am I just trying to farm for Arctic Winds? I will be able to see the damage that I'm doing, but on top of that, I'll also... it'll also make the boss fight a little more challenging, which is kind of the intention to begin with anyway. So, alright, let's see here. I still have to find the one enemy. Do I need to restock on arrows? Not really. I should be okay for a while yet. There's a couple of enemies that are weak to lightning in the next area, but... You know what, actually, I probably can get to the floating continent from here, not too far away, because if we look at the map real quick, floating continent's in the bottom left corner. We are in the bottom right corner. It's basically next to the compass. There's that little landmass that you can barely see to the southwest of it. That should be the floating continent. So let's just go that way, excuse me, while on the ocean floor to see if we can find that Kagura. And if we can, then we'll go back up and we'll surface, and then we'll go to the floating continent to restock on these light arrows. I probably won't restock on them again after that, though. You know what, actually, I can just do this. Because I shouldn't need them for anything else after this underwater exploration part. So. You didn't fight the super boss, you never beat the game. Yeah, fair enough. That is a good enough excuse for not fighting the super boss. Although, if you did it in the DS version, the thing about the super boss is that in the PSP version it's a lot easier to find it, because in the DS version, in order for you to get it, you had to send like 28 letters to other players using the DS's wireless communications. So it wasn't exactly easy to do, to even get the letters to unlock and proc. But in this version of the game, it's much easier because they literally just proc as a result of storyline stuff, so yeah, no big deal. I'll just let them do this off screen while I find the next dungeon I want to go to. There we go. I heard it resolve right at the end there, and I was like, okay, good enough. Yeah, that would have been a problem too. I could definitely see that being a problem. It was a problem for me, so I gotta imagine it'd be a problem for everybody else too. Huh. Wonder what this is all about. Wonder if this is where the floating continent is, like if I surface now, if this is what it is. So, well, we didn't find that Kagura, but I guess that's fine. I'll just, you know, just do this, I guess. And then we'll just dive back down and see if we can find it in a little bit. We'll just stay underwater until we find it, and then after that I'll surface and I'll fly over to the next area near Saronia. And once we're done there, then we can go to the actual next dungeon we need to go to. So. Despite living in a big city in North Carolina, most people don't seem to care for handheld games that much. Surprised you got as many street passes as you did. Yeah, honestly, it was a problem here too, although I don't live in a big city, so like it was probably more pronounced, but like you just didn't get a lot of street passes. It was probably more prevalent in like Japanese cities where there was just a lot more people that had handheld games, but here it didn't really, there wasn't really a whole lot, so. Alright, let's see if the floating continent was here. Yeah, just about, so. Alright, so if we go in on the west side, we can actually end up close to the village of the ancients, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it should be right up. Maybe not, actually. Maybe it's down here. Wait, hold on. There we go. This looks familiar. Let's go here. I'll go show the shadow as well that I was talking about before, the one that we can't actually go and get just yet because we don't have the right kind of traversal method for it. And I guess while I'm here, I might as well restock on iron and holy arrows because I can do that at the Dwarven Hollows as well. So I still really like the toy box theme that this area's got going on in the background. It's just very soothing. Considered yourself lucky enough to get the Eon ticket in Oras. At least that one has some longevity by being street passable. Yeah, I definitely did not get an Eon ticket, so it's a good. That's a bit of luck for you as well. So, like you said. Let's see, 92, 96, yeah, there we go. Oh, and you know what? While I'm here, I might as well sell some of that stuff, because what better place to sell random sunken treasure than a floating continent that will never be able to sink into the sea? Well, I don't know if it will never be able to sink into the sea again, but it's probably going to be a while before it does, so. Why does the air knife sell for 1? Like, it's not even good. I'm gonna get rid of it, I don't need it. Ancient Sword, it's not quite as good as it was in Final Fantasy II. It inflicts paralysis, which can be useful, but more useful as a sellable item. So, let's see, what else? We don't need these regular books anymore. We've got the Cognitome, and I'll just never take that off for the rest of the game. It'll just be in Ignis's hand for the rest of the game. The tomes we'll keep, because those still have some use case, but not going to use a monk, so I'll get rid of the Tiger Claws and the Metal Knuckles, but as you can see, we're starting to rack up the money really quickly. Triton Hammer deals a lot of damage, as you can see here, and so if you combine that with the Dual Tomahawk, you've got 183 attack, but and the +5 Vitality is nice. Maybe I'll keep it. Because we got an Aegis Shield in the last dungeon as well, and the nice thing about the Aegis Shield is it prevents all status ailments, so it's better than pretty much every other shield in the game in that department. There's only one case where it's not better, but I mean, that's literally the super boss, so like, you know. I guess I'll hold on to it just to show what I'm going to do with it, but I'm not going to use Dual Tomahawk. We don't need this extra Boomerang now because we have a Chakram. I'm not going to use Dragoon in this game because there's a Dragoon in the next game, so just get rid of the Trident. We have an extra Loki Harp, don't need that. I won't need this or this anymore if I'm going to use the Aegis Shield. And actually, I think we got a Diamond Shield, yeah, so I don't need either of those because I can just use a combination of Diamond Shield, Aegis Shield if I need to. Got Diamond Helm. These Reflect Mails are pretty good, actually, though. They have some status protection, but on top of that, they give 30 defense and 30 magic defense, which is not normal for most body armor. Most body armor has much higher physical defense, unless it's like a robe or something, has higher physical defense than magical. So, like this Viking Mail has 36 defense, but I think it only has like single-digit magic defense it gives, so won't need that anymore. We have Diamond Mail, though, so I'm probably just going to use that instead of the Reflect Mail, honestly. We've got status protection with the Aegis Shield, so. And the Reflect Mail sells for a lot, so why not, you know? Don't need those anymore. We have Diamond Gloves, 1 pair, so actually I'm going to keep the gauntlets for now because we don't have 2 pairs of Diamond Gloves yet, not till the next dungeon. Don't need the extra Rune Bracers. Dream Harp we keep because that's our healing factor. Alright, so I'll hold on to the Triton Hammer, why not? And I guess since I'm out of the dungeon, I can move Eric back over to Viking, because I'm not going to be stealing anything from the enemies under the sea, so. Although he's already job level 97 on Thief, right? Yeah, so I won't be stealing too many more Arctic Winds from them anyway, but we got quite a few already, so it's not a huge deal. I guess go back to the light arrows, and then. So just to give you an idea, so he's got 27 vitality as it is. If we equip the Triton Hammer, now he has 32. But again, that doesn't affect the HP that he gets at each level up, so I don't know what the point of that is. I guess I'll just leave him like this for a little while, though, because this just is going to give him quite a bit of resistance to damage, so. 85 defense and 50 magic defense right now, so neither of those are bad at all for him, so. If you ever have your 3DS with you, you can always pass the ticket to others better than what they did in the original Ruby Sapphire Emerald. Yeah, I forget how they did the Eon ticket in the original, but it wasn't particularly convenient to pass around, if I remember correctly, so. I'll keep this boomerang for now, just in case I go back to Thief, which I will off-screen, so I might as well. Don't need the extra feathered hat now. Keeping the tomes. Oh yeah, I didn't sort this, that's why it's all lopsided like this. Alright, sorting now. Okay, so with that, let's go restock on our other types of arrows, and like I said, I'll go show off the shadow that I mentioned previously, but like I said, we don't have access to it at the moment with the Nautilus, but we will have access to it next time. So like if I go up here, I think it's like right north of here somewhere. Yeah, it's up there. So there's the shadow right there, but as you can see, there's a mountain pass blocking our way, and there is absolutely no other way in other than over the top of this small, like, mountain pass here. So we can't get the Nautilus in there, and unfortunately, you can't dive on the floating continent either, so that's not a method that you can use as well. A little unfortunate, but it's fine. Won't be a huge deal. We'll be able to get in there in not too long anyway. It was a limited time distribution to make legendaries feel actually legendary, same for all mythical Pokemon, and the only other way to get it was to mix records with someone else, which requires a link cable. In other words, it was actually behind a paywall, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Feels like Pokemon is either ahead of the curve on things or really, really behind the curve, and in this particular case, they were ahead of the curve on those paywalls. I think this is... No, this is the armor shop. One of these sells iron and holy arrows, I know it. I just don't remember which one. I think it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. Alright, 12 of these, 2 of these, and there we go. And now we actually have enough money to go to that village that I was talking about, so we'll probably go over there as well. I'll just, I'll come off of the floating continent, and then I'll dive down again so we can see if we can find those Kagura's. And then, if we find them, we do have to dive into a little passageway under the waves in order to get to that village, but we have enough money now to actually buy all of the things I want to buy from there. And that means any other items that we get after this are just straight profit. Which is good because, well, actually, I would say we're going to need all the money we can get, but considering the fact that I'm not going to be using Ninja in this game, we actually don't need to worry too much about money. We're going to coast, by comparison to most people, because the thing about ninjas is that they throw shuriken, and shuriken, I think I mentioned before, are very expensive, because you can buy them later, but not easily. Alright, yeah, since you're back on Viking, I guess I could whack them with the Triton Hammer if I wanted to, but nah, it's fine. I'd rather... The thing about physical attackers in this game, because you're so rewarded for using attacks in 2 hands, like equipping a weapon in both hands, you get more than twice the damage output out of it. So usually just sword and shielding it, or sword and boarding it in this case, axe and board, it just, for me, it doesn't feel quite as effective. Like, the damage will always be lackluster by comparison to that, for example. Honestly, it's really cool. The floating continent is so tiny. It just helps with the whole adventure feeling when you finally leave. Yeah, the scope of everything just feels so much more massive when you look at how tiny that place is, so by comparison to everything else. Shuriken are overpriced AF. Hated Ninja. And I mean, to be fair, they're really strong. They have 200 attack power, so they would be overpriced AF given that. But, like, still, did it have to be that overpriced? I don't think so. Another price was because of how strong they were when thrown, but come on, also didn't know about the item duplication glitch in the DS version. I believe that glitch still works in this version of the game as well. I have not tested it because I don't need it, but I haven't tested it, so I guess we could try it. We'll talk about the glitch at some point. I guess I could talk about it now, actually, while we've got it on lock here. So, because I know how to do it in the DS version, but in this version it's probably the same inputs, honestly, but basically, so item duplication. You can duplicate items in the DS version of this game. So all of this stealing attack items, like Bomb Arms and Arctic Winds and stuff, you don't even need to do that. All you need to do is just move whatever item you want into the top 2 slots of your inventory, for example. And then if you stick them there and you get into a battle, you can duplicate them. I'll show that off in just a second. Do I want to use light arrows now? I don't think I need to. I'm just going to use iron because they're easier to get, like, buy from a shop. I don't have to go all the way back to the Village of the Ancients to get them. I can just go to Amur and use them. Here's the Triangle Island here. Ah, there's the enemy I was looking for. So that's Kagura right there, the seahorse. So basically, if you have an item you want to duplicate, at the top of your inventory here, you press up. So if you press up, you'll go to your equipment, right? But if you press up and the X button at the same time... Okay, I did it wrong. Okay, that was almost right. Basically, if you press them with good timing, and I'm not good at it apparently, you can duplicate them. Maybe it's not in this version, because otherwise it wouldn't be giving me that sound effect. But basically, it would let you use the potion, like it would go up and then it would move forward as if you were going to use the potion, and then if you backed out of that, you'd have one more potion than you would otherwise have. So, but either way, I haven't been doing it in this version, either because I'm not good at it or because it doesn't work. I really couldn't tell you the answer to that because I'm not good at it, apparently. But I haven't been using it in this version just because I don't really think it's needed. Like, we're already doing well enough with the attack items. I had a thief anyway. I needed to level a thief all the way to 99 anyway because there's a very premium item, at least one. You know, I mean, there's turtle shells, obviously, but there's another very premium item that I want to steal, like, late in the game, third to last dungeon, kind of late. No, fourth to last dungeon, kind of late. And I want to steal 2 of them, and they're only available if you have a thief at job level 99 because it's only available in the 4th slot of an enemy's items. So, but it is the best piece of equipment in this entire video game, so like it's well worth the effort of attempting to steal it. Alright, well, we've found all the enemies underwater now, so I'll just fly to all of my destinations from there, and then only go underwater if I have to, like here, where I have to go under the landmass in order to get to the village, so that's what we'll do. I was going to say, and now I'm going to get a battle with 3 of the seahorse things, because of course I would, after spending all that time looking for them. I wonder if I can just do this. No, because I think he doesn't hit with his fist then. I think he still just hits with his hammer then. I'm going to see if you can one-shot these things, actually, Eric. Why not? I mean, it's lightning damage, and we're going to give you the Loki harp, so why not? It's not like I'm actually going to have you attacking very much at all, so might as well use it while we've got the chance. And he should be able to damage them decently with his hammer, considering he's got decent weapon levels from his job level and everything else, so... Okay, then. That'll work. Wasn't a particularly strong attack, but hey, that's okay. It doesn't have to be. When you've got 110 attack power and a lightning elemental damage for an elemental weakness, that will do it. Alright, so, village hidden by the mountains. So what's in this village? Well, as it turns out, the Dalg continent is basically entirely Doga's domain because this is Doga's village. And this area sells a bunch of black and white magic spells. I think also summons as well, the summons you can get in Repleto. So basically, it's all of the magic in the entire game up to level 7, and including level 7. So I just need to find the level 7 merchant. I don't think it's that guy. Maybe it's this one? Yeah, this is it. So you won't be able to buy these for quite a while yet after this, but I think you can buy... No, actually, it's not the next dungeon, but the dungeon after that where you'll be able to buy these. But since they're available now and we have enough money, I'm just going to buy them to fill out the list. Really, the only one I care about is Kiraja, as usual, because the healing spells are really the only ones that I think are worth mentioning, because I'm not going to really use the other ones, but I'll get the other ones anyway just to fill out the spell list. Why not? This feels like such an unorthodox playthrough, though, with... It's like, here's all these spells that we're buying. I'm never going to use any of them. It's so bizarre. Like, typically when I play this game, I use a white mage, and I use a black mage as well in this part of the game. I put them on at the Wind Crystal, and I don't switch them until we get to the Earth Crystal. Then I switch from a black mage to a summoner, and a white mage to a devout. And then that works out pretty nicely. But... in this particular playthrough, I have chosen to do things completely differently. Just for the hell of it. Why not? Like I said, though, earlier, I think it, helps make the playthrough a little more unique, for one. And for another, I also think that it... are you going to KO with... Probably won't KO with Triton Hammer if I sing the Dream Harp, so let's just do this. It helps make the playthrough unique, for one thing, I think. And then for another thing, it helps me train up the meta jobs that I need for the super boss anyway, which is a really high damage dealer, a white mage or a devout, a Viking, and a bard, because those 4 jobs are the ones that basically annihilate, well, not annihilate, but they give you a chance at dealing with the super boss without having to level to like level 80 or something absurd like that, where you need like 50 gazillion experience just to get there, and you're getting it 5,700 experience at a time, or 20,000 at a time if you can manage to KO the dragons, but oh, those guys are tough to KO. Although I guess you could, if you really wanted to, you could, like, instead of fighting with a whole party, you could KO things as one single party member, and that would get you more experience, because experience is divided among party members. So, like, if you're going to get 1,000 experience per enemy, like if you kill one enemy and it gives you 1,000 experience, if you have all 4 characters alive, each one will get 250, and it'll display as 250 experience. So... yeah, it might be worth it then to be like, okay, let's just KO 3 of the characters so I can raise these other ones. But at the same time, is it? You know what I mean? Because, like, then you still have to raise all of them. I think I'm going to leave the Tome of Light on Angus, so... And let's park this here, because literally right out at the cape there, we can dive underwater and we'll get to the next optional area. But I might as well save. I haven't done it in a while, so... the save file... not save over the save file that I spent all that time and hard work testing for the super boss. Quite honestly, I may use that file for the actual super boss fight rather than doing it on this file, but I'm not 100% sure about that yet. I may just save over it, depending on what we get done here with here. Anyway, this is the Saronia Catacombs, so another optional dungeon, and well, we'll see if we can make our way through. I'm just checking job levels real quick. Okay, we're all doing pretty good. Nothing particularly interesting to steal here, from my understanding, unlike the other cave. So we'll go. Like I said, we'll go back to that cave later. Wow, looks like Nepto Temple in here a little bit. Probably just these pillars. Just gonna see if there's anything interesting in this first area. Ah, ogres. I was wondering where you guys went. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is 2 of the enemies that we can find here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the boss. So, and that one's a monster in a box. Okay. Yeah, so there's 7 new enemies, including the boss and a monster in a box. So 5 new enemies. Here's 2 of them now. So there you go. Fachan, not an ogre mage apparently, even though he's got the ogre mage skin, color palette, and then boss troll. So where's the regular trolls if you're the boss? Angus, can you KO this guy? No, I don't think you can. I'm just going to use Zeus's Wrath. I was going to say, can you KO this guy if I use the book? But I don't think so, because they don't have an elemental weakness to lightning, so the Tome of Light will do basically no damage. The Zeus's Wrath will do it, though. Why is this bard so much better than the other one you took a shot at? This bard actually has party-wide buffs, for one. I don't think that bard has party-wide buffs. I think he just has status effects. This bard can also heal worth a damn to the entire party. The other bard can heal for, like, a potion split evenly among your party members at maximum. In the original game, anyway. If there's one thing that I will sing the praises of for Final Fantasy IV: The After Years, it's that they actually made the bard in that game better than not bad at all, because he has a command, right? So I can sing with the Dream Harp with Refia in this game, and she'll use Paeon, which basically heals for a little bit more than a cure. It's like between a cure and a cura, right? In the original Final Fantasy IV, the bard in that game has the Salve command, which is supposed to act, I think, a little bit similar to that. But it basically splits just a regular potion, not a high potion, not an X potion, just a regular potion, evenly among your party members. And so if you have 5 party members, which is the maximum you can have in Final Fantasy IV, you heal for 10 HP on each character, because the potions restore 50 HP. And they can never restore anything more than that, so that command is effectively useless, and it's stuck in his command list for the entire game. But in the after years, they give you a... First of all, the salve command works with other items, so it'll work with high potions and X potions. And second of all, if I remember correctly, they give you a ring that you can wear in that game. I think it's the economical ring or something like that. And that ring actually makes it so that those... you don't burn through all of those potions. So, like, the salve command, it'll use, if you have 5 party members, it'll use 5 potions, or 5 high potions, 5 X potions. If I remember correctly, the economical ring makes it burn only 1 of those potions, and you still heal all 5 party members for the same amount of HP. So that command is actually useful in that game, because you can heal for like 2,000 HP per party member with 1 X potion. So he actually has a use case in that game. So again, I will say that that is a good thing about the After Years. Now, will I play the After Years just given that, and that being one of the only good things in the game? No! Absolutely not! Oh. Trine Odyssey works mostly. You'll see the full EXP amount after a fight, but then you'll only get that amount divided among everyone who is alive. Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty much how it is in this game. Well, actually, in this game, they divide it before they show it to you at the end of the battle. So I know, right? I mean, you'll never touch 4 just because it doesn't suit you. Yeah, and honestly, like, the thing about 4, right, is I think it's actually the best place in the series to start if you've never played a Final Fantasy before. But if you've played a Final Fantasy before, or if you've played 4 before, I just think it's really boring to go back to, honestly. Like, it's just, there isn't really... Because it's so simple, like, there isn't a lot of, like, job changing or anything like that in this game. Everybody has a fixed class that they use instead of switching around all the time. Because there's not a lot of switching back and forth between different things, it just... The game feels the same when you play it through multiple times, you know? So how much HP do you have, Senchos? I can just... Yeah, okay, you've got 4,000. I can KO you with 1 volley. I don't even need to barrage. I probably could to get a little extra damage out, but I won't. And, yeah, you know what, Angus, let's see if you can get an attack off before Luna just annihilates this guy. You can go double Aegis Shield now. Yes, we can. We have 2 of them. I think we get 3 total, actually. So you could go double Aegis Shield and give it to one other person, or you can have 3 Aegis Shields. And actually, that's nice because you get 1 ribbon outside of the final dungeon in a different area. So... Excuse me, you can have full status protection on your entire party as long as you have 3 shield users and 1 magic user, which maybe that's 3 melee classes and a devout if you really want to. That's one way to do it, you know. What am I missing here? We got Kyclops, we got Boss Troll and Fachan, we just saw Senchos. Balor, that's what I'm missing. He's a rare encounter, but not on this screen, so according to my source, anyway. Provoke you. I'm gonna see if Ingus can... No, I don't think he can, actually. Like, I was gonna try and have him use the books, but I don't think he can. I'll just throw a Barm Arm at him, why not? The Provoke will make him take, like, 8,000 damage from this or something. Oh. You know, quite honestly, though, like, thinking about the fact that I've talked so much shit about the After Years, I've never actually played it. I've only ever heard this stuff from other people who have just told me don't play it. But I do have access to the After... Oh, wow, that was actually almost 8,000 exactly. I do have access to the After Years through the PSP version of Final Fantasy IV, which I have the complete collection. So when we play Final Fantasy IV for the stream, I'll be playing the complete collection. But the After Years comes bundled with that, so maybe I should try it so that I can actually say for real that I don't like it, rather than just going along with what everybody else says. Oh, funny story about the Aegis Shield. Do you think you told the story? In your last run of 5, you totally forgot to go to Lix at all, so you missed a Bard song. As a punishment, you said you'd get every rare steal possible, meaning you got the 3rd Aegis Shield from stealing from Helicar Nasus. Oh, that sucks. I mean, it doesn't suck as much as, what is that, the Dragon Whisker or something? But, like, yeah, that's not a whole lot of fun. But, I mean, I guess 3 Aegis Shields would come in pretty handy, all things considered, so. Use 3 shield classes. Then it would be pretty nice. Alright, Luna, we already know you're going to 9,999 the guy. I wanted to get Angus a turn, but apparently not. Eventually, Erica's going to catch up to him on job level, just because Angus will only get turns every so often, but... Again, he doesn't need a ton of, like, actions in order to get a job level, so I'm not really super concerned about it, but, you know, I'm a little concerned. I've already seen this guy, I'm just going to fly through this while I look at, make sure I'm getting everything else. Throw the book at him, Mingus. Yeah, there we go. The reason why I'm going to fly through is because this dungeon is not much longer, but there are 8, count them, 8 monster-in-a-box treasure chests coming up that we have to deal with, and the encounter rate here is already pretty high, so yeah, we're gonna, by the time we're done with this, I'm going to want to go home now. I think it was a suitable punishment, to be honest. Yeah, well, I mean, that's fair, because, like, once you, the problem with missing the Bard Song and Licks is once you leave the first world, you're screwed. You can't go back and get it, because you don't have access to Licks, again. Well, it's not even on the world map until the 3rd world at that point, the Merge World. And once it's on the Merge World map, you cannot get back to it before the end game basically starts happening and it gets sucked up by the void. So, yeah, because that would have been a lot of game to have to go back and do if you even had the save file for it. So, the walls here look familiar, no? I mean, I guess this is the Saronia Catacombs. Maybe it goes up around that one area that's that we couldn't get to before when we were in the basement of the castle. This is where that other enemy that I'm looking for, Balor, spawns, so I'm going to see if I can find him. You're not Balor! I'm going to find 4 of you in a treasure chest in about 3 seconds. Just checking my arrow count real quick. Just do that. I'm probably going to fast forward through all the monster in the boxes in a second, because, like, after there's one enemy that's in there that's new, so I won't fast forward through that one, but once I fight them, I'll probably just fast forward through the rest. Just because, like, I don't need to be spending all that time on something I already fought, you know? Maybe I'm just getting impatient, I don't know. In my old age. Maybe I was just impatient to start playing this game again, quite honestly. But each of these treasure chests has either an elixir or a phoenix down in it, so it's probably not a bad idea to pick them all clean. Here's the new enemy, Ouroboros. Not eating his own tail, but that's okay. He doesn't have to. It's probably healthier for him if he doesn't. He's weak to lightning, so zap. Oh wait, I said I wasn't going to fast forward this one, so. Can 4 of these mobs stand up to Lunith? 4 of the Senchos that we were just fighting? No. He can barrage each of them and one-hit KO them. They only have 4,000 HP each, and, well, if we're doing over 9,999 with a single hit, we're going to do more than that with a barrage hit. Well, actually, we won't with a barrage hit, but, because barrage at the moment deals 0.6 times my normal attack damage. But yeah, very little in the game can stand up to a barrage from Lunith anymore. There will be enemies that can do that, but typically those enemies are like mini-boss encounters, basically. And I want to be clear here as well, half of the, well, not half of it, probably like 25% of the reason why Lunith is dealing so much damage is because Refia keeps singing him haste. So, like, his damage output is still sky high, don't get me wrong, but it would be slightly less than what it is if Refia wasn't singing haste to him every battle. Like, there you go, that was 7,242 damage, and that was without haste. With haste, we're dealing upwards of 9,000. I think it did at 9,000-ish anyway. So, let's be clear. The phrase is, behind every great man is a great woman, and in this particular case, the phrase holds very true. So, although, quite honestly, I don't think that does enough justice to the great women. There's typically a lot more than one great woman behind every great man, so it takes a village, after all. That's the other phrase. So, I'm not fast-forwarding, I should be. Heavy machine gun! Okay, well, I did 7,200 last time and 9,000 this time, so. Thought that was supposed to be for married couples. I mean, maybe it is, honestly. Like, when I'm thinking of more than one great woman behind every great man, I'm thinking of, like, his mother, his grandmother, his aunts, all of those people, you know? So, like, not something else. I don't know if that was what you were thinking either, but it wasn't that. Alright, fast forward through these again, because I don't need to be standing here with these snakes. We already know how this is going to go. Oh, I should mention something. So, the damage cap that we're seeing, it's not really a damage cap because we're hitting for more than 9,999, but the displayed damage is 9,999 even if we go over that. That is also true of hits. So the maximum number of hits that Lunith can do as a ranger with a bow and arrows this is if he's at level 99, job level 99, and with maximum arm strength, he can deal 66 hits. But you'll only ever see 32 hits because the game does not show any more than 32 hits. But for right now, he's probably doing 33 hits rather than 32. He's been going up like one every few battles. So, but he'll eventually be doing way more hits than what he's doing now. By the time we get to the end game, because we won't get to like maximum regular level, we will get to max job level, but not maximum character level. By the end game, he'll probably be doing about 48 hits per attack. And remember, that's 48 hits per arrow. So every one arrow in his inventory is doing 48 hits. You thought it was crazy when the boomerangs are coming back and hitting more than one time. How the hell are we doing that with just one quiver of arrows? Unless every one arrow that we use is an entire quiver that he's just shooting at the enemy, and we've just got a giant chunk of arrows in our bag of holding here. Something like that, I don't know. Like, I'm just carrying 82 quivers of 48 arrows each. Oh god, I'd be over-encumbered as hell in every other video game. Oh, I didn't notice. Eric actually has more HP than Lunith now. He must have gotten a better bonus at the last level. Because they have the same base vitality, Ranger and Viking, and Bard for that matter, so. And also White Mage if I was to switch Angus over to that. 66 hits. What is this madness? Final Fantasy 3DS, or Final Fantasy 3 3D, it is a game of madness, because you, as it turns out, if you know the mechanics of it, you can overpower the sin out of yourself. Pretty much just the same as you would in Final Fantasy 2, which is really funny because, quite honestly, the more of this game I play, and the more of it I learn the underlying systems, the more it just feels like a Final Fantasy 2, but with jobs. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. I feel like for a lot of people this is more of a rehash of 1 because it's got the job system, but it feels like a lot of the mechanical carryover in this game was stuff from 2, just with the job system layered on top of it, you know? So, but I don't know. That's true, Eggy Egg. Most of the time, ammo does tend to be weightless unless hardcore mode. So, it was weightless when we played Fallout 4 as well, although I think if I remember correctly, when we played Champions of Norith, it was not weightless, which is why as a matter of fact, I do remember that, because I had to carry around like 50 or 100 arrows at once so that I wouldn't over-encumber myself. So, yeah, most games it does tend to be weightless, so it's usually not a big deal. And we have a bag of holding for a reason in this game, right? So, and Eggy Egg, hello, welcome to the stream, how you doing? We are in Saronia Catacombs right now. I have a pretty meta team, except Ranger and Scholar. The Bard and Viking are supposed to be here. They're really strong classes in this game, but everybody sleeps on Ranger, and I really like Scholar, so we're using both of them, and as it turns out, Ranger is pretty good when you raise arm strength, so hitting for max damage, more than max damage, that won't last for very long in a second here, but okay, we're doing pretty good, and Angus is at nice level there. Actually, I'm not going to unequip the light arrows just yet. I didn't find the Balor, did I? Well, I can find it on the second screen as well, so I guess it's not a big deal. It's only a 10% encounter rate, but I already have to go back and find a couple of things anyway, so I'm not worried about it. Well, we're under the castle now because the music is telling me that we're under the castle, but who's this broad in front of me? Well, if you've played through the series before, you probably know who this is, so let's get ready for a boss fight here, because that's what it's about to be. Let me think about this. How do I want to do this? Madura first, I think. And then, because I don't want to do too much damage on the first round. Because, if I remember correctly, once this boss gets below 50% HP, he'll start using Zentetsu! So that kind of already gives away who it is, but, you know, it's okay. Actually, no, you know what I'll do? Here's what I'll do. Is I'll start with the Loki Harp, we'll do the haste up, and then we'll Madura on the second turn just in case he doesn't get KO'd. So. It's a Mabinogi Cash Shop Quiver. It actually holds 1,000 arrows. Fair enough. Wait, those weren't cash up. They were event exclusive. Hey, ratings, by the way. Yeah, there you go. Tried fighting this one and got destroyed. Yeah, you're supposed to be, according to the FAQ that I'm using as a source, you're supposed to be like level 40 when you fight this guy, but we'll be fine, I think. But yeah, it's Odin. Although his horse looks like it has lost a couple of legs, because Sleipnir normally has 6 legs, but hey, we get to fight Odin now, so that's cool. Let's see. Yeah, so we'll do Loki Harp first. We'll sing this out, and then I'm just gonna have you toss. Toss the bomb arms, because Arctic Winds will just keep because we can steal them easier than anything else. Well, actually, technically speaking, Heavenly Rats are easier to steal than anything else at job level 99 for Thief, because the Black Flans near Amur have Heavenly Rats in their last steal slot. But yeah, that's okay. We'll worry about that later. It's like semantics, basically. They both deal massive damage. So let's put the haste up. Hopefully Provoke works. Okay. We went gambling, but it actually succeeded. That's a good thing. And with the Medusa arrows, we should do some pretty good damage here. He doesn't have any elemental weakness, so we can't deal massive damage. But that being said, I literally just did over 9,999 with that one hit, so... you know? Looks 40 enough? Yeah, something like that. Definitely some kind of a fort aesthetic, but yeah, the castle above us is giving us that vibe. Do I Dream Harp here? No, I think I Madura because I want the Protect just in case he does get his Antetsuken off before Ingus can throw this last bomb arm. With haste up, we should be able to get it in, but you never know. Oh, meant my level? Yeah, my level is pretty good too, yeah. We've leveled up significantly since the start of the stream because the enemies in these areas have given a lot of experience, so... Oh good, we got him anyway. We didn't even need the other bomb arm. See ya, Odin! He has 31,000 HP, by the way. But if you thought that looked trivial, just wait until we fight the other 2 summons. Anyway, got a couple job levels, that's good. Got rid of Odin real quick. Wizardry! What the actual hell? I know. Who knew, right? Who knew shooting somebody with, what would that be? 33 hits per barrage. Well, it's 30. What's 33 times 0.6? Hang on, let me do that. It's not going to be even because it's not a multiple of the 33 times 0.6 times 4. Who knew shooting somebody with 79.2 arrows would do so much damage? Oh, God. This game is too silly. I can't stand it. Anyway, we get to summon Odin. As usual with the summon spells, they have these weird names like Catastro. I don't know why they wouldn't just call it Odin, but whatever. We'll give it to Eric because I'm never going to use Summoner in this game, but might as well have somebody carry it, and Lunith doesn't need it. He's got cannons for arms, so he'll be fine. Oh, and actually, this actually reminds me of something. So we're level 36 now. As you can see, Ingus now has more than 0 level 3 white magic access, or level 3 magic charges. So we can literally teleport out of here now. That being said, I still need to find the Baylor, so let me go find the Baylor, actually. I'll do a few encounters here just to see if I can find it. And then if I can't, I'll just run back to the 2nd level, because apparently you can encounter it there too. So we'll see what we can find. If we can't find it in a reasonable period of time, which I'm going to cut off and say is like 5 battles, then I'll just leave at that point. And since we're just looking for one particular enemy, I'm also not going to, like, draw it. Well, no, I won't draw it out. If Ingus gets a turn, then that's cool. If he doesn't, then he doesn't. I think they just gave all of them names of actual attacks, so you know what move you're using instead of remembering what each summon does. Yeah, and honestly, I guess that's fair. Although, like, it doesn't really make sense with the last summon, though, because the last summon is, well, it's Bahamut, but the name of the summon is Bahamur. Like, it's just Bahamut, except it has 1 letter misspelled. Like, what's the point? Okay, this is the Baylor, right? Yeah, this is them. Okay, cool. So they look like those eater guys that we saw in the Sunken Cave, but that's fine. We can handle them. Get the Loki Harp going, and then, again, see if Ingus gets a turn. If he doesn't, that's fine. My thought process with Ingus and getting him turns from now on, I kind of mentioned it, but basically when we fight 2 enemies in a battle, I'm going to try to have Lunith just do a regular physical attack and have Ingus and maybe even Eric team up against the other enemy to try to make sure that Ingus is still getting job levels as much as possible. Because I don't feel like grinding that out too much later. Alright, well we found all the enemies in here, so now I can teleport out of here. And we're level 37, which is quite obscene at this point in the game. You're supposed to be like level 31 when you go into the next dungeon, but that's okay. I would have steamrolled the dungeon anyway. Lunith's strength knows no bounds. I wonder if well, let me think about this in terms of arrows. Do I need to restock on arrows? It's 84. No, not really. I've got quite a few, and the Temple of Time isn't that long. That's the next area we're going to, by the way, is the Temple of Time, so that's where we'll go right now, because we have some time, and, yeah, we'll go there. I don't think I need to heal. No, I still have 1 MP charge for a teleport, so I'm not really super concerned about that. I will save, actually, I'm going to save at Cape Twinhorn instead of saving here. So to get to Cape Twinhorn, just head south and then west from Saronia until you go down here. You could go over here, and I think there's a cave here. Yeah, but this cave is... you can't actually do anything in it just yet. Although I wonder if there's any dialogue in here. Let me go see. You can't really do anything in here until after you go to the Temple of Time, so... But this is Une's shrine. And, well, she's asleep on the altar. So, can't wake her from the dream world just yet. I don't know, Parrot. We'll see about that. I'm gonna go see if I can find something that might wake her from the world of dream. Not that I'd expect the parrot to know what Noah's loot is, but, you know. Either way. So there's your dialogue, just in case. I've never seen that dialogue before, so... Or maybe I have, because you can ask the parrot about that before you use the loot later, like when you get here later. So, let's see. There we go. Yeah, we've gone from level 28 at the beginning of this stream to level 37. Like, the enemies down in those caves just give massive amounts of experience. It's kind of ridiculous. Anyway, the Temple of Time is, like, literally right here, so if I try to land here... Oh, okay. As I say, it won't let me, but apparently I got it just right, where I'm, like, right above or below it. Oh, no, never mind. I was on top of it, and it still let me land. Fair enough. Alright, let me see, enemies-wise, what do we got going on here? Because in here, the enemies are a little tricky. There's, like, some rooms where enemies are more common, some rooms where they're less common, some that are only available on the first few floors, that sort of thing. The one is only available on the first few floors. It gets replaced by other things, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 new enemies in this area. Guess we better get started. Actually, I don't want to be down here, because if we go up here... Duh! We'll get attacked by a wyvern, actually. I think it's a wyvern anyway. Hang on, don't auto-battle, guys. I need to see what this is. Yeah, it's a wyvern. Actually, that's good, because I think that's one of the rarer enemies, isn't it? It's rarer in this area. Well, I guess everything's just about even here. That's okay. They've got it all the same, so I might as well take care of it now. Yeah, Loki Harp, and then... I guess just try to book them. Probably won't work, but, you know. Went back to the Backlog Buster video for Oracle. He finished in 1 day, 4 hours, 15 minutes, and 23 seconds. Oh, and that was probably implementing some fast forward too, because that's available in that version of the game. So, I don't know why I just tapped auto. Speaking of fast forward. But yeah, good lord. Like, that's a ton of time, especially for somebody who's mostly doing speed clears of 5. Like, 5 doesn't take that long to clear if you know what you're doing, so... That's a lot. But yeah, this area, the Temple of Time, is actually the last dungeon where magic keys are needed, so... You know, just keep that in mind. The invisible Galuf will never stop being funny. Yeah, he's invisible, right? Because he, whatchamacallit, he cheated in being able to use Oracle early, and so Galuf doesn't have an actual sprite for Oracle. So he's just kind of hanging around. Invisible Galuf was the best part. Just think it's funny that Galuf can use the advanced jobs with cheats. I mean, I guess they wanted to make sure the game wouldn't soft lock itself just in case something silly happened. There may have been some debugging going on, basically. So, like, maybe they tested the jobs at earlier parts of the games, like when they were, you know, doing playtesting or something. That would be my guess. He was just the sentient cannon in the Cannoneer video. Yeah, I think I need to watch his videos of the advanced jobs. I haven't watched any of them yet, but I think I need to go back and watch them because I feel like they'd be pretty funny after a while. Just goofy stuff happening. Okay, there's another diamond helm. I'm really looking for the other diamond bracers and the other diamond gloves, although probably by the end of this dungeon we won't need 2 pairs of diamond gloves because Lunith will have something else to stick in his ring slot? I guess ring slot, yeah. Arm slot. So. But yeah, we only need these magic keys for this dungeon. I could just bust out Erica's a thief and do it that way, but I bought all these keys, so I might as well use them, you know. Alright, we found the seahorse and king lizard, king crazy, just a minute ago, so that's 3 of the 8 new enemies, I think. What's left? 1, 2. There's 2 new enemies that I can find. One of them has a high encounter rate in this room, so I might as well stick around here until I find them, and then after that there's 1 new enemy that has a higher encounter rate on levels 2 and 3, but after that disappears, so the encounter table. So we'll see if we can find both of them. Imagine programming-wise, the only issue is Galuf's lack of sprites equipping jobs just puts commands in your menu after all. Oh yeah, and that's fair too, because then that's all, like it just puts the commands into there, and that's it, so. I love how people learn to tell, how to tell a video game story more than a dozen different ways and keep it entertaining. Yeah, that would make sense then, yeah. Like, yeah, it's literally just the lack of sprites, and that's all that's really making a difference there, so. And if that's all it is, it's like, okay, well, as long as you don't need the sprite to do anything in particular, and since battle sprites are not the same as, like, out-of-battle sprites, usually you don't need the battle sprites to do anything in particular that could cause a game crash. Oh, okay, bye, Wyvern. That was a crit. That man got annihilated. I was just double-checking to see if there was any other rooms where these enemies can spawn at a higher rate, and no, this is actually the room where they spawn at the highest rate. That being said, the enemies that I'm trying to spawn here are a little nasty. There they are. So we haven't seen the regular chimeras, those are over by Doga's Manor, but these are chimera mages, and these guys have Garuda's lightning attack, and they can use it 3 times in a row, basically 1 from each chimera. So that just will annihilate my... Well, I don't know if it'll annihilate my entire party at this point. It might. Isn't that fun? I'm gonna try to avoid that by just using the heavy machine gun real quick. We don't even need provoke, because I'll just kill them naturally without it, but just get the heavy machine gun out and just annihilate all of them. 7,000 damage each. Excuse me. This job is ridiculous, man. Like... absolutely absurd. Good experience out of those guys, though, so I'll take it. I mean, I already knew Rapid Fire was ridiculous, because it's ridiculous in every other Final Fantasy game that it's in, but, like, Rapid Fire... Okay, so it's Barrage in this game, but Rapid Fire in this game is just... It's nuts, and again, nobody uses it, which baffles me, because it's like, okay, but you can deal 240% of the normal damage you would deal to a boss by using this command. And also, you could do that with Warrior, but you don't lose 240% of your defense in the process. Hell, you can stand in the back row with it and still make it work. Hey. It'll all be worth it later, though, because, like I said, the enemy HP pools late in this game bloat quite a bit, and on top of that, the super boss will not take 9,999 damage, I don't think, from my attacks, so... Alright, provoke you. I kind of, like, for some reason, I feel like a bit of a hypochondriac about it. I check my harp, like, to make sure I have it equipped, even though I basically never unequip the Loki harp for any reason during these regular random battles. I don't know why I do that, but I do it. else am I looking for here? Let's see. I need to find Dira. And then there's 1, 2, 3. Okay. One of the rooms on floor 4 has a better chance of 2 out of those 3, though. I don't want to say what those other ones are because I'll let it be a surprise. Dira isn't something that'll be familiar to anybody who hasn't played this game, so, you know. That one, it's still going to be a surprise when we see it. Oh, the Defender's Sword. So this is actually a really nice item. I would keep it for the rest of the entire game, quite honestly, if you're using any class that actually uses swords, because it casts Protect, so you don't need to find turtle shells, because it casts literally the same spell the turtle shell does. Unfortunately, in this game, they got wise to how things worked in Final Fantasy I, because in Final Fantasy I, if you had an item that cast a spell, anyone could use that item. So you could throw a white robe to cast Invisora, for example, no matter what job you're using. In this game, you can only use an item to cast a spell if you can actually use that item as an equipable weapon or armor piece. So they didn't want to make it too easy on you in this particular case. So I can't actually use the Defender with any of the classes I'm planning on using except for Warrior, which I'm basically never going to use again, so yeah, they got wise to that, especially like Marie just said, they're Giant's Gloves. They didn't want a repeat of the Giant's Gloves, not that they gave you anything that would cast something as atrocious as Saber in this game, but they didn't want a repeat of that, so they said, okay, if you want to use the Defender, you're going to have to be able to equip that as a weapon. So I won't have a class except for Warrior that can do that, and I'm planning pretty much on never using Warrior again because Ranger is just that much better. So yeah, we probably won't see it. Free Saber was really funny, though. Yeah, and it made a lot of the classes in the late game, like, it made a lot of the boss battles not suck. Because, I mean, I guess you could just spam Temper and then use Haste a couple of times as well to not have to worry about it. But Saber was like, it basically just gave you the maximum buff that you would get out of, like, 4 Tempers in one spell. So, let's see here. 3A, 3C, this is 3 and 3. This is 3B. Okay. And those enemies show up later. So really, though, I'm really just looking for the Dira enemy, so, but the encounter rate's been taking it easy on me, so we'll look around. There's a second pair of diamond gloves, and another knife that I probably won't use. It sucks, because it's a behemoth knife, so it's probably pretty good, but, yeah, you know. Yeah, we got diamond equipment on everybody now. And if it still resisted lightning like it did in the original version of the game, it would be a pretty good piece of armor. Hell, I'd keep it for the end game, since enemies use lightning so much in the end game. But, there we go. So this is the Dira that I was talking about. It's the last Harpy enemy in the game, so, but just as weak to bows as every other Harpy, so fair enough. Let's see. I don't need it, but hey, the more damage we do, the more, that guy in Gasol can tell me the maximum amount of damage I've done is, because, as I said before, we can do way more than 9,999, so. Ew, forgot the summons had multiple things that each summon do. Yeah, so in this game, Evoker can have one of 2 effects for summons, and that's kind of... It makes Evoker not very good, at least in my opinion, because there's that factor of randomness to it. I mean, I guess if you don't mind gambling on, you know, stuff, or if you just want to use Titan over and over again, because Titan just has 2 attacks, but I'm not a big fan of that. I'd rather just wait, if I'm going to use summons, until Summoner. First of all, because Black Mage is really good all the way through the game in this one, actually, so like, Black Magic is pretty strong all the way through the game, all the way up until basically the end, when summons take over, but... and then second of all, Summoner doesn't have to worry about the factor of randomness. It can just, you know, summon... Well, it's called high summoning, really, if Final Fantasy IV has anything to say about it. But it can just summon with a guaranteed AoE attack, which is pretty good. So, also, secret passage behind the waterfall here. So let's grab this before we go down further into the temple, because there's a really, really good item down this little passageway. Oh, okay. It's being guarded by Bahamut Mini. Now, this is the dragon, so we'll just barrage him. He should be weak to bows just like every other dragon, so I don't think it'll be a big deal. And also we got a preemptive strike, so quite honestly, actually, I don't even think I need to barrage him. I could just do this, and honestly, I'll probably still kill him, but there's that chance that maybe I won't, and that'll mean Ingus will be able to get a turn in while we have it for free. Saber on a white wizard with capped HP with the ultimate weapon and Dawn of Souls, that is a lot of damage, yes. Quite a lot. So, although, you know, you can do that with any class that has capped HP, but, you know, it would be really funny because White Wizard is not known for its damage output, so there you go. Yeah, Bahamur has 3 abilities. It's like one of them increases attack power, one of them deals, it's like has an instant death attack or something in it or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but that's because I never use Evoker. And then there's just Mega Flare, which is the only one you really want, but that's only available through Summoner, so. There it is, the best piece of equipment in this game, well, I don't know if equipment, but armor-wise, definitely. The Protect Ring. It's not necessarily that good in the original version of the game, and I don't even think it's that good in the Pixel Remaster either, if I remember correctly. But in the 3D versions of the game only, as far as I'm aware, the Protect Ring not only has pretty good defense and magic defense, it gives 18 defense, 18 magic defense. Also, let's look at the stats. So, Intellect and Mind are not being raised by anything right now. If we equip the Protect Ring, it will raise all of his stats by 2, so that is also very good. So again, 18 defense, 18 magic defense for an arm slot is really good. If you can't equip better gloves, then there you go. It's better than even the diamond bracers, so that's pretty good. But the most important thing that the Protect Ring does in this game is it halves all elemental damage by 50%. And that is nuts. It's a game changer for Luneth because he is really frail because of the fact that he just isn't going to get a lot of great armor going forward. He only has 1 more armor piece for the entire game, and it's a ribbon. So he's going to be a little frail, and the Protect Ring makes him a lot less frail. Granted, non-elemental damage will still absolutely annihilate him, so if we get hit by, like, Flare or Meteor or something like that, we're going to be in a bit of trouble, but before that point, it's not a big deal, so. Yes, they cannot fit all of that into the item's description, so it does things that you have to physically see, but I've tested it. It does exactly all of the things I just said. All stats +2, defense and magic defense are pretty good, and halves that elemental damage. And it's even, quite honestly, better, in my opinion, than the ribbon in this game and the Aegis Shield, because, like, those prevent all status ailments. That's not anything to sneeze at either, but status ailments late in the game really aren't that big of a deal because you're killing everything so fast that you don't have to worry about it, at least typically anyway. So, but the extra protection from elemental damage is really nice, so I'll take it. Okay, 2 enemies, so Ingus, you're gonna get a turn this time. Yeah, Protect Ring, look inside, passive shell effect. Yeah, pretty much, so. Again, the only thing that it doesn't give you shell for is non-elemental damage. So, Flare and Meteor in the late game will still be problematic, but, you know, we can handle that. There's actually a harp that we don't have access to yet that casts something similar to the shell effect anyway, so, and that'll stack with the Protect Ring, so that'll help with even mitigating non-elemental damage like Flare, like Meteor. So, and I think Quake as well doesn't count as Earth Elemental in this game, it counts as non-elemental, so. Whoa, holy crap! Giant, weird mutated rat thing? No, this is a behemoth. So, this is where this guy is first encounterable, is in this part of the dungeon. And he's actually got a pretty good spawn right here. Is that everything? No, there's one more room that I can go to that has the last enemy, and the otherwise they're only available at a 10% rate in one more room, so, excuse me. But yeah, the Behemoth is a pretty powerful enemy. It's not necessarily the strongest thing you've ever seen, but just wait till we find his cousin late in the game, then it's going to be a different story. Do I want to throw anything at him? I think if I remember right, Behemoths and their cousins have all elemental damage. I could be wrong about that, though, so. Excuse me. He's not quite as big as his cousin is. His cousin takes up almost, well, maybe not the whole screen. And if you've played Final Fantasy XIV before and you've done the Ancient's Maze, you probably know the guy that I'm talking about. He does use Meteor in this game, just like in that game. Says you. Still needed those ribbons in the last area. Oh yeah, absolutely. In the final dungeon, ribbons are really good because there's a lot of enemies that have multiple status effects. So, oh good, a back attack with 3 Chimera Mages. Let's see how this goes, shall we? Okay, well, that's 1 not lightning. That's 2 not lightning. There it is. Knew it was going to happen at least once. Okay, well, that was pretty good, actually, and that was also because of the Protect Ring. If Lunith didn't have the Protect Ring on there, he probably would have taken upwards of 500 damage from that lightning, which means he would have been one-shotted very easily by if all 3 of them used lightning, so... You know how they could really mess up Bard in 14? They could bring back Foes Requiem. They could bring back Foes Requiem. I don't know how people would feel about that, but Pictomancer is literally the most OP thing in the game right now if you know how to use it. See, I still haven't gotten a good impression of Pictomancer from Cole, because I think he still plays 14, but I don't know if he ever messed with Pictomancer. I think he said he was gonna, and then I'm not sure if he ever did. So I don't play 14 anymore. For those of you that haven't been here, Marie was here for this whole part, but we stopped at Shadowbringers, and I haven't played since. And quite honestly, I haven't really wanted to play since. Like, there's never been a situation where I'm like, yeah, you know what, I kind of want to play it again. I just don't feel that. I don't know if maybe I just got it all out of my system, probably. But it was a long playthrough, let me tell you. I mean, I split it up by each expansion so that it wasn't like I was doing all of it at once, but some of those were still like 80-something videos. I think Realm Reborn and Heaven's Ward was like 86 videos, and then Stormblood was like 43, and Shadowbringers was 44. That's a lot of game. Picto is toxic. Imagine a rating statistics page showing job usage. There's every job, and then Picto is literally double what second place usage is. Oh my god. Yeah, that's like old Ninja then, right? Because Ninja was on like every team composition way back in the day because of Trick Attack and stuff. So this is the room, by the way, where the last enemy in this area can spawn. So I'm gonna stick around in here until I find it, just because I don't feel like wandering all the way back in here. So actually, Ingus is doing pretty good on his HP. He's only about 100 behind, which is not what I would expect out of Scholar. I'd expect him to be a little bit more behind than that. So imagine that with Foes Requiem. Yeah, that would... well, Bard would at least bump up in usage at the very least. But then again, that would just mean that it would be the second most used thing alongside Pictomancer just blobbing things with paint and apparently dealing 60 gazillion damage. I can't even imagine. Alright, so there's only 3 encounters in this room according to my source. One of them's got to show up at some point, and that's not the one, but that's the other one besides the Chimera Mages. So I think I can just, if I remember correctly, we got a crit last time, but I think I can just regularly do this. So. Oh, Picto has a hammer ability? Oh god. Bonk them with giant hammer! It has 3 uses each time you paint it, and it probably deals a very large amount of burst, because you don't just give something a hammer unless it deals burst damage, right? And each one is a guaranteed direct crit. It's disgusting. Guaranteed direct crits on a DPS? Are they out of their minds? There's a reason why that shit was stuck on tanks before, because it wasn't as strong. Oh my god, now I see the problem. Good lord. That's atrocious. Okay, well, that's problematic. Hello, motorcycle. Yes, I do hear you, as a matter of fact. Hammer is god. Just get the bonky stick out. Okay, see there, I didn't have haste and I only dealt like 6,300 damage to this guy. I say that like it's small potatoes damage, but I don't know about that. Refia, you really do have the most HP right now, don't you? That's insane to me, but you know what probably happened actually, probably the reason why I got less damage out of this, probably because Provoke didn't work as well, so that's fine. There we go. Oh, and you know what? I think when you finish this dungeon, there isn't a boss at the end of this dungeon, but I think when you finish it, you get a full heal, so I didn't even have to worry about maybe not having, like, only having 1 MP for teleport. So. Oh well. The thing with the hammer motif, the thing that lets you use the hammer attack, is you get 2 charges of it, and it gets a use back once per minute. Oh, my head hurts now. That's giving me a headache just thinking about it. It's probably from all the dopamine that my brain is simulating the experience of from whacking things upside the head with it, but like... Yeah, I could see how that would be a little bit unbalanced. Just like, and I'm saying a little, but like I'm stretching my arms out as far as they can go. Okay, can I please like get the enemy I'm actually looking for here? Please? It's not this guy. Ow. He is pretty strong though. I think I have otter shrooms, right? I got those from the shop. Yeah, I've got 5 of them. I'm just gonna burn a Cura, if I even get a chance to. Might as well. Oh, he did! This barrage is gonna hit twice, yeah. That Provoke actually worked. Oh, and Picto has Starry Muse, which is a damage steroid for the entire party. Oh, lovely. Including the Pictomancer, I imagine. Which means their direct crits deal even more damage. Game's gotta be wild to play now. Okay, well I burnt through a whole bunch of cures doing that though. Yeah, I can definitely see the picture now in terms of why it might be just a little bit of a problem to balance. Because that needs the banhammer, not the banhammer, but like it needs a delicate hand to make sure that that's not as OP as it currently is. But I can imagine the player outcry after you nerf that class. Not gonna be good. Balance? They don't even try to balance it. Realm would be proud. Yeah, I imagine, because Realm, like, her sketch ability could be pretty good in 6, but the problem in 6 is that the magic command is so OP that pretty much, not every other command, but a large majority of other commands just get completely nullified by the existence of the magic command, and Realm has the highest magic out of any character in 6, so... The highest base magic, I should say. You can get more magic with others, but... You know. She's pretty strong with that there magic. Magic is OP, and Realm has the magic? Yeah, there's that. Well, she doesn't have the magic to start with. She doesn't get magic naturally. It's just very easy to learn magic in Final Fantasy VI, and because of that, Realm very quickly becomes a runaway train when it comes to magic. I had a hard time thinking about how I wanted to balance teams, like team compositions in 6. I wanted to try to balance it around people's abilities, but that really just made people like Locke almost useless because Steel is pretty bad in 6, and that's all Locke really has going for him. He has okay weapon damage, especially late game it gets pretty good, but that's about all he's got, and it's not very great, so I said, okay, how about this? 6 of you get magic, 6 of you don't. The ones that have really good skills that are not magic, you don't get magic, but the rest of you, you get magic. So that you can be endgame viable. And it actually honestly worked out pretty nicely, because then I could specialize. I could be like, okay, you're the attacking mage in the party. Okay, you're the support mage in the party. So, worked out okay. Didn't even try in 6 Advanced, just wish you figured out how to make Umaro good. There was a glitch or something with his Blizzard Orb, wasn't there? Although I think you don't get the Blizzard Orb until the bonus dungeon, if I remember correctly. So, but I think there was a glitch that could make it hit like 3 or 4 times. I don't remember how that glitch works, but I could swear I'm not making that up. I'm not that senile yet. I'll get there, but I'm not there yet. Okay, sir, can you just like divide into 3 pieces and turn smaller, because that is literally the enemy I'm looking for. They have the same color scheme as you. They're just teeny tiny little dragon looking things. They're called pterodactyls. Apparently they have a 40% spawn rate in this room, according to my source. What is this? I'm just gonna fly through this. How many arrows have I used? I'm still using the iron ones, but I mean, I guess I can just go buy a bunch of them. It's not really a big deal. So, let's see. Okay, we're at 48, so I got to be mindful of that because once I'm done with this, I'm definitely teleporting out of this dungeon though, because we won't need any extra experience from walking out because I've already gained a chunk of it from just being in this room, and I probably got a good chunk of money too. So there they are, and they don't have the same color scheme. Never mind, I was incorrect. That's probably why I was having such a hard time finding them, because they look complete. No, you know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of the palette swaps of pterodactyls that do have the blue color scheme. Never mind. So, but here's the pterodactyls. These are the other enemy that I needed to find in here. And again, it's literally just because I don't feel like wandering back in here later. It's sunk under the sea, so I might as well just get all of that done while I've got the Nautilus here. We can get the Nautilus later if we need it, but might as well take care of all of this while I'm here, you know. Speaking of senile, you got your testing in a week and a half, and then you get your results 3 weeks after that. Oh, being tested for a couple of important things to you anyway. Okay, fair enough. I was going to say testing for what, but you don't have to elaborate if you don't want to. But hopefully you don't get a test result that says you're senile. That would be really bad. And that would be a really mean thing to test for, quite honestly, because I feel like that would not be a very nice thing to say to people. Oh, well, test results are in, you're senile. Okay, but what the hell? Like, why? Alright. I keep going down to go to equipment to check and see if I have the Loki harp equipped. I do! I don't need to keep looking. Oh, good. Angus got a turn off, so we get a little bit of job experience. And Luneth is still powering his way towards level 99 arm strength the further we go. Let's see here. Where's everybody at? Oh, 85. That's not bad. We've gotten quite a few job levels since we started the stream. And probably what I'm going to do is I might, in between streams, like, just level up some more off-screen, but at the same time I already have a clear save file that I'm using to test the super boss, so I may just use that one to whatchamacallit, take care of the like the super boss fight rather than doing the grind again. That doesn't make any sense, you know. I'm already doing it, so but yeah, this is the room with Noah's loot in it. It's also the room where apparently those pterodactyls can spawn as well, but you know. Cool. Well, Refia, you can play this in front of Une and probably wake her up from her slumber. Doctor thinks that you should be tested for ADHD, but yeah, if you do have ADHD, highly doubt it. That means that you succeeded in school despite your ADHD. Eat that, normal people. Yeah, well, that's good then, because, like, so then I'm guessing since it's not diagnosed, you wouldn't have had an IEP in school to kind of help out with that. So that means you would have succeeded in school without the IEP, which is impressive, definitely. I mean, I know several people who have had IEPs in school who have also had diagnosed ADHD in high school, and the IEPs really helped them. So being able to succeed without one is a feat. So don't let anybody discount that from you. Hope you're a gifted kid. Oh, there you go. that definitely helps out too. Hated it so much being gifted. Yeah, I mean, I guess it comes with its drawbacks. You do well in school, but there's other parts to that aren't so good. So. Oh, we didn't get a full heal from getting Noah's loot. Okay, well, fair enough. Then let's get the heck out of here with teleport. And since we didn't get a full heal, let's, before we go wake up Une, let's go to Duster and rest up at the inn there. I don't know if that's less expensive than Saronia, but it's okay. Duster's right around. Well, I can look. Hang on. I have a map after all. It is just southeast of me. Cool. And I probably should go restock on arrows as well. Oh, excuse me. Especially since the inn is literally right here. Yeah, like being an outcast because most people think you're weird and don't understand you. Yeah, that's one of those problems that comes with it. Yeah. I laugh, but I understand. Trust me. Let's see. Anything else I want to sell? Yeah, the behemoth knife for 1. Well, like, why are all the knives worth 1? Do they have, like, blood on them or something? Like, what's the problem here? I'm gonna get rid of the defender. I don't remember if you can buy one. I think you can buy one if you need more of them, but I'm gonna get rid of it because I don't need it. So we'll just get rid of that. I don't need 2 golem staves either, so I'm gonna get rid of one of those. We'll eventually sell the other golem staff as well, but if you have 2 of them and you have a white mage in your party, so it casts break when you use it as an item, but it also inflicts gradual petrify when you whack enemies upside the head with it with an attack command. And basically, if you get gradual petrify on an enemy 3 times, you break them automatically and they die. So if you have 2 white mages in the party, for example, and one of them has 2 golem staves equipped and the other one has 1 equipped, you can inflict break very reliably that way. So like, just have one person dual wield golem staves, whack the enemy with 2 of them, that's 2 out of the 3 gradual petrifies, have the other one whack them with 1 of the golem staves, bam, broken enemy, defeated. So I learned that one off screen actually while I was wandering around fighting stuff, getting job levels. I was like, why are these enemies dying when I'm inflicting 0 damage on them? Because I had Ingus minied. And turns out the reason for it was because of gradual petrify, so that's fun. Don't need the heavy lance or the blood lance. Definitely keep these though if you're using a dragoon. The blood lance gives you, basically it lets you drain health on hit. So, oh, that's the other thing I should have mentioned. Sorry, I forgot to mention this for anybody who's playing along. Hopefully you haven't fought Odin. If you have fought Odin at this point, I apologize. It may be worth reloading a save because Odin has the Gungnir spear to steal, but he can only have it stolen from him if your thief is at job level, I think, 71 or higher. So if you haven't gotten your thief to job level 71 yet, you might want to do that before you go fight Odin because you can't get the Gungnir anywhere else. And it's one of the best spears in the game, if not the best spear. That being said, I'm not using spears or Dragoon in this game, so I don't really need it. I'm also not using Geomancer, which is unfortunate because Geomancer can be fun, but it's a little too random for my taste, so I'll get one of those Lamia harps, though. I don't need 2 diamond shields. Heck, I don't need 2 Aegis shields while I'm at it, but I'll keep the second one. You never know, maybe I'll need it for something. I'll keep the diamond helmet in case I have, I guess, Lunith go over into warrior for some reason, I guess. This is for thief. I don't need the reflect mail. I'll keep the diamond mail. Don't need the gauntlets though. Don't need these rune bracers anymore. And hold on to the diamond gloves. Although I really don't need them because I have a protect ring. Well, if I'm going to switch over to warrior on Lunith, I'd probably give him the diamond gloves and give the protect ring to one of my mages. I do eventually want to get 4 protect rings, actually. But you only get 2 from treasure chests, so unfortunately that's going to be one of those things where we're going to have to we're going to need to do a few things in order to get those protect rings, like encounter an enemy that has a 1% encounter rate. Fun! It's okay, there's a trick, if I remember correctly, to actually getting him to spawn the first time. So I'll talk about the trick, but that's not for a few dungeons yet, so I wouldn't worry about it for now. Alright, well anyway, as the last thing that we do today, let's go wake up Une, and then we'll go where she wants us to go tomorrow. We're coming back tomorrow. I think I'm too far north, actually. Yeah, here we go. Okay, let's go get the loot out. Refia, you're the resident bard, so let's get you out in front of the party. And let you play it for her. Again, you don't need the bard out in front, it just makes sense because I've already got her on a class that's inclined towards music anyway, so might as well. Oh, okay, everybody comes out anyway. Fair enough. Not much of an alarm clock, if you ask me, but hey, you know, if it works, it works. You know, I just realized I didn't really talk to Doga more than the one time where he talked about the Earth Crystal. Oh well, he only had a couple of things to say. I'll try to remember to talk to Une. I think she has like 4 different dialogues, so try to get the first 2 today, and then the last 2 tomorrow. Yes, Captain. And the parrot dies. No, it's there. It's just they didn't have a separate animation for the parrot being on her shoulder, I guess. Oh, okay. Don't throw your back out now. You just woke up. Nice to meet you. This is exciting to you? Oh, okay. So yeah, so those mountains that I told you about over in that lake on the floating continent that we couldn't get past? Yeah, so apparently this invincible airship will allow us to hover over top of those small mountains, so... She says the highest mountains, but that's not true. The highest mountains in the game still block it, just like every other airship, but either way. No time for waiting, Sonny! I'm getting older, and even though I won't die because I'm still immortal, unlike Xand, I don't want to live my life as a 3,000-year-old woman. Yes, ma'am, I get it. My eyes are up here, Sonny! Oh, Une's a good gift. She's so goofy. Yeah, the highest mountain, asterisk, not actually the highest mountains. Consult your airship insurance agent if you attempt to scale the highest mountains with it and you crash into it. You may be entitled to compensation. And Une also has a gift for us, the Fang of Fire, alongside the gift of her company, because she joined our party. So there's our third Fang. Oh, okay. Why? What do they do? Oh, okay. Yeah, so we haven't seen the entrance to the Crystal Tower yet, but that's the tower that she's talking about. That's Xand's tower, the Crystal Tower. And the 4 Fangs will destroy the 4 statues out in front of the tower. So, unfortunately, though, we don't have the last Fang just yet. If we did, it would be very easy to go and grab the last set of jobs, because the last set of jobs is at the Earth Crystal, which, spoiler alert, is right next to the Crystal Tower. But we need to get the Fang of Earth before we can do that, so... It's unfortunate because, like, I feel like if the Earth Crystal jobs were available right around now-ish, they would probably be less problematic in terms of how you slot them into the game, where it's just like, okay, well, just slide those right in now, and then you have some time to level them up before you get to the final dungeon, you know? But oh well. Can't you go near the statues now and you just get pushed back? Actually, if I remember correctly, if you try to go near the statues now, you get a game over. I'm pretty sure they just kill you, actually. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of the Bottomless Bog, but I'm fairly confident in that. I guess I can go save and find out, right? Like, you can't tell me what to do, Une. I'm gonna go to the statues anyway. Just get zapped to death. All jobs should be acquired by the halfway mark, minus the super jobs and job system RPGs. Yeah, I kind of agree, honestly, and I think Square agreed with that as well, because in Final Fantasy V, you get access to all of the jobs before you leave the first world. So, like, that's a really good system, because then you get to use those jobs for, you know, a good chunk of the entire game, even the Earth Crystal jobs, which you don't get until last, but... Like, you get to use everything for a fairly substantial amount of time, and in this game, that would be a big benefit, because, like, job levels exist, so... Although, if I remember right, in the NES version, job levels did not exist, so maybe that's part of it? I don't know. I'd have to look back at the NES version, honestly. Oh, okay. And I imagine that everybody was dreaming for the entire 1,000 years. What kind of something evil? Well, maybe we'll find out about that later. It's a good little Easter egg, though. Not really Easter egg, but, like, something to tell you, hey, there's more going on here than just this Xand fella. Wow, sounds like an impressive airship. Okay. So yeah, if you just go a little bit north from here, you can head over to the ancient ruins where the Invincible is sleeping. Now, what I'm going to actually do is, from this point on in the game, you'll have access to 2 airships, the Nautilus and then eventually the Invincible once we go to the ancient ruins. What I like to do is, the ancient ruins are along this river that runs to the west of Saronia, a little bit, not quite, as you'll see in a second when I have Angus get up the world map. But there's a cave that you can see. If you look at where Saronia Castle is, just north of us, and then look straight left of it, so the town at the top of the continent is Repleto, if I remember correctly, and then the cave south of that is the ancient ruins. So the ancient ruins there are where we need to go to get the Invincible. But it's not too far away from Saronia, so what I like to do is I like to park the airships out here by Saronia and kind of use it as a system, like a home base, basically. For the rest of the game, so that way it's not like, okay, well, I got to go all the way back to the ancient ruins to grab the Nautilus because I need it for going diving underwater or something, you know? So we'll try to use Saronia kind of as a little bit of a hub, although it's mostly the outside of Saronia. But I guess the town is there if we need it. A job takes a dedication of time, and putting them at the end will just have them mostly overlooked. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I feel like that's kind of the trouble that you run into, at least I run into in this game when it comes to, like, upgrading White Mage into Devout, Black Mage into Magus, you know, Evoker into Summoner, less so, because Summoner is unique compared to Evoker because of its new spells. Monk into Black Belt. It's just tough at the end of the game to be like, yeah, I want to justify the use of these jobs, but I have so many job levels on everybody. Like, look where I'm at with everybody else right now. We're in the 70s and 80s. Now, I've done a little bit of job level grinding, but not much. So, like, that's a lot that you're just leaving on the table if you just drop those jobs just like that and just decide, okay, well, I'm going to use these jobs instead now. It was one of the reasons why this core set of 4 jobs that I have here is going to be the jobs that I use for the end game. Just because, like, I'll have all the job levels on them so I don't have to worry about leveling them up later. Either way, I have saved the game, and that is because I am going to call it a day here. Let me read Eggy Egg's last comment here. In 10.2, you get all the jobs minus the super job at the halfway mark too. Okay, well, that's pretty good. I've never played 10.2, and I've only played 10.1 once all the way through, because I didn't get that game until after, like, when the remaster came out, basically. I didn't get it when the PS2 was originally on. The only PS2 Final Fantasy game I got was 12, and I had not played a Final Fantasy... No, that's not true. I played Dawn of Souls before that, before I got 12. I got 12 and 3, I think in the same year, if I remember correctly. And before Dawn of Souls, I had only ever played Final Fantasy VII, and I had never gotten past Disc 1. I'd never gotten past the train graveyard because I was like 7 or 8 when I played it. No. 9 or 10, actually, and I was scared shitless by the train graveyard at 9 or 10 years old. I was a pretty scaredy cat of a kid, huh? If you don't lose the tournament for Spear Break, oh boy, that could be a problem. Anyway, yeah, like I said, I'm going to call it here. So that's going to do it for today's episode of Final Fantasy III, the Stream Edition. I think I just saved, but I'm going to do it again anyway. We gained 10 levels since we started today. That's a lot. So I'm going to call it here. That'll do it for today's episode of Final Fantasy III, the Stream Edition. We'll come back tomorrow, and we'll continue wandering around. Well, maybe not wandering anymore, because we have a distinct mission that Une has given us. We gotta go find the Invincible. And once we find the Invincible, we'll have 2 airships. We'll have access to some pretty good armor, because we'll be able to find some new towns with the Invincible to use that armor on. There's a couple of bonus areas for us to go to that are otherwise unavailable to us. And there's some pretty good treasure in those areas, alongside the fact that on top of all of those things, we'll have the ability to get the Fang of Earth so that we can then confront the Crystal Tower. But we'll save all of that for the next episode, which will be tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So thank you for watching, everybody. I appreciate you checking out the stream, and I'll see all of you, as I said, on the next one, which will be tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Until then, everybody, take care, and have a good one. Forgot to stretch in the middle of this. It's too bad I don't still have that stretch break thing from when I was on Twitch. Let's hope I don't get up and, like, my legs are asleep or something. I guess I could try it right now. Oh, God! Okay.